Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome, gamers, to a big time gaming session. Big time gaming stream. Oh, Cashy's here, wow. She is running the show. Gamers, we need to rise up. Alex Deacon, you're a gamer, and you need to rise up. Just kidding, this is not a gaming session, but hey Gling, welcome. Please guys, subscribe to PewDiePie if you haven't already. Also me. How come no one ever says subscribe to me as a meme? Next time you're up at the Super Bowl, I want some signs up that say subscribe to Let's Read. That'd be great. Alright, mother suckers. Oh boy. Cashy's right out the gate with this one. With the 35. It says, what the guck? What the guck is right, Cashy. Thank you. So I don't, honestly, Cashy, we haven't seen you in quite some time. I hope you're doing well up in Canada. Pulling off the maple leaves off the trees and stuff, But thank you so much for the 35. As some of you might be well aware that we've been doing with recent streams, and I haven't. I don't know if anybody's updated you, Cashy, on what's going on, but basically, there's new videos coming out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'm always recording them and whatnot. But I was like, what would be the greatest way to just kill two birds with one stone is just stream that recording process, so you guys get to see it firsthand, all the flup ups and the mess ups. Alex Deacon with the 0.79 European Moinchmooks. It's a new currency that they've generated in the EU. The Moinchmook. You don't have a Canadian accent. We don't sound like that, I swear. Oh, that's okay. That's just us in, North Chicago. Gang. We'll let the whole gang roll in here before we kick this off. Sing a Cher song. I don't even think I know a Cher song. A-Dub, welcome, my friend. Chipotle was actually very good today. I know I'm kind of a Chipotle connoisseur, and I am able to pick up on. Been there so many times now that I'm able to pick up on when their ingredients are like at their most fresh, if that makes sense. And I'm always getting chicken. Well, I usually get a bowl and a salad, which is very unexciting. Double chicken. I get the what do I get? Oh, mild and medium salsa, and then I get the guacamole. And today the guacamole and the chicken were just like so on point. I'm telling ya, it was amazing. And I don't know, I've been trying this new thing where I just like only eat one time a day, here and there, just give it a whirl. Basically, I wake up, I make a little protein mixture of sorts. So I guess I get that nutrients in me and whatnot, and then kind of get some normal life stuff done, but then go to the gym on like I guess a borderline fasting type state. Espanol. And yeah, basically hit the gym, and then afterwards that's like my meal. And I don't know. It's I guess you could call it intermittent fasting, but it feels good. And yes, vitamin C, I can't recommend it enough. Guys, just when you're sick, it sounds so simple and silly, but there's so many studies showing how effective vitamin C is against fighting against viruses, which is usually what colds are usually comprised of. And just strengthening your immune system is really the best scenario you can do, so you should definitely look up some hardcore, deep digging YouTube videos into the world of immune system strength. Yeah, vitamin D is where it's at. Getting sun helps your body like synthesize that. That's why it's like vitamin D3. It's like a weird hyper-specific subset of vitamin D, but that's why I worked night shift for so long, and night shifters tend to live about 10 years less than the average human being, which is a little bit sad. But I guess it's just because our sleep schedule is so effed and we hardly ever see the sun. So I'm happy to say I kind of got away from that. But it's winter, so. Lights Darkness with the $10 says, love your videos so much I bought a billboard that says subscribe to Let's Read. Well, thank you. Let's get that up on all major highways ASAP. Jenny, I know, guys, I say these things about night shift, but look into it yourself. Look at ways that you can just get yourself in a good rhythm, because for me, I like night shift because it was the most chill. And sometimes it just, I do really like to just chill. Do some ASMR. Guys, I'm gonna ASMR you straight to your bed. I do technically have an ASMR channel. I only have about 3 videos on it. So it's certainly not the greatest ASMR channel of all time. I just haven't had time to update it, but maybe one day I'll get inspired here and pump out some videos on it. Yes, Green Turtles, I was a nurse. I still technically am with my Teabag Tea series. That's a great slogan. Should put that up. But yes, no longer currently, been just full-time YouTubes. Alexander's asking about the face reveal. You guys gotta hit up the Discord. Get in that selfie channel on the Discord. Links in the description. You can join up. All the good stuff's in the description. I'm sure one of the mods will link to the Discord as well. And if we get over 1,000 selfies, I might just, show my old mug. T-Series is just a B lasagna, that's all I'm saying. B lasagna. This is a nice family-friendly stream. Cashy, you posted the selfie. Did we count it? Did we add it to the list? I think we're up to like 400 selfies or more now, so we're like halfway there. Hi, Spooky. Welcome. Corpse Husband. Yeah, Corpse is about to be back in this game, yo. He's about to post some spooky stories in the month of March, from what I hear. You heard it here first. Well, you may have heard it from him first, but... So, be ready. We're at 483 selfies, guys. We are halfway to... Most likely I'll just post like kind of like a blurry Sasquatch style photo of me walking to the bathroom. Jenny ate a scene kid. With the $2 that your voice helps me sleep. Love the stories. Thank you, Jenny. I just learned is a scene kid, that's like an emo kid, right? Because my roommate was looking at scene kids, and that's like the the appropriate way to call them now. I guess they prefer scenes. Maybe guys, what if I did a selfie and I'm a scene kid? Would you guys still love me? Even though I was like so scene. Alright guys, we are at 200 concurrent few hairs right now, which is dope. Invite all your friends. Let them know. Let all the other subscribers know we got spooky stories we about to read. From Let's Read. Lights Darkness with the $5 says, your videos help me sleep at night and I always get happy when you upload a new video. Thanks so much for your hard work. Thank you, Lights. Absolutely. Yeah, we've been having a good time with, I mean, I've been having a good time just because a lot of these videos have been getting up over an hour, which I know is like preferred scenario for a lot of people. So that's pretty dope. And most likely, based on the length of the stories, we will be getting back up there. Ashy says, why did the donation amounts change? I don't think so. Your 35 is Canadian Maple dollars are still up there. Make sure to... Oh, yes. I almost forgot to butter my socks, guys. That butter will slowly make its way up to my lippies. Alright. Guys, we're about to transition. This is like borderline Silent Hill. Slowly easing into the spookiness of our good friend Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. You can feel that energy coming. Whoa. Did you guys feel that? How spooky that got? Hey, Connor McCutcheon with the 5 says that slurping sound is worth $5. This slurping sound? Yeah. Jenny Scene Kid with the 2 says, gotta sleep now, gotta wake up at 10 p.m. for work? Oh my god. Good luck. There's a night shifter. Big Avocado, I'm about to cure that depression with this stream. You be ready. A lot of people think depression is incurable. Well, let me change your perspective right now by telling you some terribly spooky stories about dead people. That's the logic. A lot of people think you gotta like get into like super happy, fun, you know, cool environment. No, that's like a myth, bro. That's like vaccines. You know what I'm saying? Nicole, I notice you. Blue Rooster with a 10. Hits from the bong. I promise that is not a bong. This is what is this? The Hydro Flask. A good friend of mine bought this for me, and it's pretty dope. It's like a really, really like durable ceramic water flask, and it literally keeps everything freezing cold. Not today, Satan. This is a Christian stream. Have you guys ever scared Satan? Do I play games on stream? I definitely do. I did. And if you go back to my old streams playlist, this one will go underneath the streams playlist as well. It says like streams, gaming, live reading, and that kind of thing. Wait, Mariana got a Hydro Flask ad under the super chat. That's actually hilarious, and I hope that's real, because that would be like next level advertising. But yeah, I play games and they just don't do quite as well. Like, I mean, this has like almost 250 viewers. That gets like 40, you know what I mean? And obviously that's what you guys subscribe to my channel for, spooky stuff. So, and reading, obviously. And I like it too, because with the reading I can interact with you guys way more, whereas gaming, all you do is hear me whine like a little baby boy, baby diaper wearing boy. And It's silly. Abby Mayer with the 250 says, "Be my friend," or "Be me friend." Be me friend. I am your friend, Abby, and I thank you for the 250. You just bought your friend a coffee. Connolly with the 10. I love your videos. Thank you, Connolly. Guys, sometimes I like to ramble about like Wayne philosophical, so if anyone does on the off chance donate, please just ask me like a really deep question about your life and just let me completely ruin it with my advice. What do you say? Alright guys, so with the great help of Spooky Whispers in the acquisition of scary stories, she has acquired 10 paranormal stories that will come up tomorrow in tomorrow's video. And to start it all off, we're kicking it off with a doppelganger story, which I'm sure some of you might be familiar with. Do I like Unit 522? Of course I like Unit 522. He's a good man. I think he's taken a step away from social media, so that's normally where I catch people most of the time. I haven't seen him in a bit. I know we all kind of need a little break from that from time to time, but I believe he's still grinding out the narrations, and yeah, he's a great narrator if you have not familiarized yourself with him. He almost kind of reminds me of a King Spook, if you're familiar with King Spook, in his delivery and general kind of gravelly, deep tones, per se. I've ever wanted to record in a British accent. I feel like my British accent would need some work. Would really need to hone that in. Do I like Burger King foot lettuce? Of course I do. But I would never want to find that in my Burger King burger. Oh yeah, no smiling while I narrate, otherwise the story's gonna sound super duper happy. Samantha with the 269. Giggity. Haunted object stories and pick my next hair color. Oh boy. Brown. Dark brown. There it is. Done it. Haunted object would be really interesting. Perhaps we could, compile quite a few of those, and that would be great. The sound that came out of my mouth when you did that voice. I didn't mock Chills. I love Chills. Chills is honestly, Chills is like the most successful, but also like the most down-to-earth dude on YouTube right now. And all the honestly, all the success he had, he like absolutely deserves, and he's just a really good guy. He does a lot of charities and things like that as well, and he's also a dank rapper, so that's always dope. Yeah, I like Chill's music. I hope he pumps out some more videos, because those are actually good videos. I was pleasantly surprised to see the quality of I guess the art direction per se he went with that. This is I just realized. Alright, yeah, we gotta get the mess up counter down, so that's number 1. A-Dubs, donating through PayPal. Yeah, so it's still through Streamlabs. So yeah, you can still do that. I'll make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, A-Dubs, you donated through Streamlabs on... Sorry, that's the thing. It doesn't pop up on the chat because Super Chat's the one that pops up. So you donated two buckaroos and says, "Be me friend." I will be all your friends here. Yeah, hit 500k and I'll do a half a face reveal. Show me chin for me friends. Make sure I did not miss any other donations there. All right, yeah. Sometimes I need to bring up the entire editor here on the, if you guys are familiar with Streamlabs OBS, that got it on another monitor here, and I can easily see when someone donates on the other Streamlabs donation process. Light Darkness with the 5 again. Thank you, Lights. Have you put bacon in your socks before? I have, and also I put butter in my socks before too. And have you heard of Darkness Prevails? Yeah. Well, that's I'm glad you guys are prepared for this stream. And yes, Darkness Prevails is also a good buddy of mine. We talk a lot more than I talk to most other narrators and stuff through social media and stuff, and he's really good because he's really pumping out the content like super frequently, and it's always like really unique too, which is cool. I love his kind of emphasis on cryptid type stories. Shakira Bartholomew with the 2 says, I love your videos so much, dude. Thank you so much, Shakira. Appreciate that. You guys are so positive. It makes my life so much easier. I know there's some streamers I watch and like they just get trolled the whole time, and it's just like I always enjoy a good trolling, you know what I mean? But I'm glad I don't have to deal with a toxic environment with you guys, and we can all be chill. I don't talk to Mr. Nightmare. He's a very reclusive individual, and I think it's probably smart that he does that, because his channel's massive, and tend to avoid internet drama when you don't connect yourself with too many people. So I'm going to record 10 seconds of silence here, and just to get that as like it picks up the background. Spartan says, hey Joel, have you turned up the volume of your music? In recent videos adds to the tone. There's A-dubs. Just showing my support. A-dib, witty joke. Witty joke. Oh, A-dib, witty joke. A-dibs. I call A-dibs on that. Thank you so much, A-dubs. But yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes, depending on how Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse does his dark ambient, it can really fluctuate in its volume. So sometimes it can kind of come off as louder. But I'm glad that it adds to the tone and isn't, disruptive to the listening experience and stuff. I really, really do like his stuff, and he's very talented. Sometimes after the stream, like the music will just like still be playing, and you kind of get sucked into it. You just like, this is my life now. Everything is just dark ambient. Trent, so the next video is going to be tomorrow, and what day is today? Tuesday. So I am on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, and we are on the 7 p.m. post meridium, or 7. Well, I guess I already said p.m., but yeah. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's on the East Coast of the United States, coming out at 7 p.m., so you can do the math accordingly to where you are in relation to that, and on this beautiful blue rock we call Earth. Well, maybe it's not a rock, maybe it's just a big flat piece of paper. Blue Rooster with the $2. I need a good book suggestion. I maybe could say House of Leaves. If you've never read that, that's a really, really weird and just generally written, aesthetically strange horror book. And it really tends to even mess with the reader a little bit in the way that it's presented. But man, the amount of time that the author put into that book is incredibly impressive, because it really adds to the authenticity of the whole experience, and it's just kind of a wild ride from start to finish. Nina Love with the 5 says, I'm an aspiring writer and want to submit some stories, but I'd like to chat with you first and about what type of content isn't okay. Could we chat soon? Absolutely, Nina. If you want to join our Discord or hit me up on Instagram or wherever, You know, and then also, you know, feel free to, everybody really can just submit stories to the subreddit, which is r Let's Read Official, and that's down below. But yeah, hit me up on social media or Discord and stuff, and I'd love to hear some of your stories. Lights Darkness with the 5 says, have you seen How to Train Your Dragon before, or the new Queen movie before? And you should have at one, and you oh, I should be at 1 million subscribers. Thank you, I appreciate it. I hope to. Hopefully we can get to 1 million soon. I've seen How to Train Your Dragon. I haven't seen part 2 or 3, and I haven't seen the new Queen movie, though I do hear it's pretty baller. Okay, so we got our 10 seconds of silence out of the way, and that is just to help pick up background noise that I later remove. This is a personal story of mine. It happened around my freshman year of high school in 2011. I was around 13 or 14 years old, and my sister was 4 school grades younger than me. Every day I would come home on the bus, arriving at my house around 2:20 p.m. About a 10, maybe 15-minute ride from the high school to my house. I lived in the countryside, so my stop was ways away. Ways away, okay. I've heard that phrase before. I lived in the countryside, so my stop was ways away from the other neighborhoods that kids lived in. My house was directly next to a farm, and we only had a few neighbors, and older folk who stuck to themselves. Oh, all older folk. Jeesh. Yeah, keep that mistake counter going. Daniel, with a huge 30. Oh my goodness, thank you, Daniel. There's anything you would like to add, if you didn't get to add a message there, thank you so much, and feel free to @me there. And I'd love to answer any question that you have. Appreciate that. Yeah, she says, How to Train Your Dragon Part 3 is out, and literally no one will come with me. Is it in? So it's just in theaters now? I had no idea. I thought it was like been out forever. Blue Note with the 30 says, dude, I'm super excited to be in another live stream. Always a pleasure to hear you after a long work day. Thank you, Blue Note. Man, you guys are very, very generous today. It's kind of insane. Thank you, guys. Wait, my house was okay. My house was directly next to a farm, and we only had a few neighbors, all older folk who stuck to themselves. Due to living in a rural area and having an extremely long dirt driveway, when I got home from school, I had to walk for a few minutes down the driveway before I got to the backslider door. I would enter my house, lock the door behind me, and put my things down. Every day, the same routine when I got home. I would check on my dog's food and water and watch TV in the living room for a little while. My living room window had a perfect view of the front yard of my house, as well as the driveway, and where the bus would stop at the end of our driveway. Here's where things start to get interesting. While I watched TV in the living room, I would keep an eye out the window to watch for my sister to arrive home around... Oops. Also, one of my least favorite words to pronounce is rural. It's just like such a weird word, like R-U-R-A-L, rural. And I just feel like one of those like kids who have to take, I don't know, speech impediment classes, because I'm just like, a rural. I lived on a rural farm. Also, I hope the music isn't too loud right now. Let me know if that's rural. Rural? That's how you say it? Rural? Rural. 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 The Aurora Lights. It's said different than it sounds. Yeah, how do you say it? Rural? 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 Have I pronounced rural? Have I been pronouncing it wrong? Rural. As in rural. Oh my god. I've been making a terrible mistake my entire life. Alright, I gotta check this. Because this is mildly embarrassing.
Rural.
Okay, so you really gotta go low with it. Rural. What the fuck?
Rural.
What a weird word. Makes minor mistake. Rah! Ah! Jesus Christ, forgive me. Let's read streams just obsessing over the most minor of details. That's how you get them quality videos. Rural. I can't pronounce it that way. Rural. I think that girl's wrong. I think that professional dictionary is wrong. Rural. Like, what does that even mean? Well, where is that? Where did it say rural earlier? Doesn't even matter. We've made it past. Lonnie. Is it Lonnie or what do you guys hear? Rural or rural? Sorry, my garage door's opening. Rural. Arara. I'm gonna wait for this. Yeah, okay. Garage door's closing, and we will jump right back into the story. Momentarily, folks. It's more scared of my pronunciation. While I watched TV in the living room, I would keep an eye out the window to watch for my sister to arrive home from middle school, and make sure she got off the bus and up the driveway safely. She would get out of school around 2:30 and arrive at my house closer to 3 p.m. I would keep the door locked until I knew she would be home in a few minutes, and then I would unlock it so she can get in the house when she gets to the back door. I did that same thing this day, just like every other day. While in the living room, I saw my sister's bus pull up to the end of the driveway, stop, and I watched her get off the bus. I remember she was wearing a North Face jacket, a scarf, and she had her fairly large teal backpack on, jeans and boots. She was walking up to the driveway and went out of my view, and I heard the back slider door open, close, and lock as she came into the house. From where I was sitting in the living room, I could see her walk past a doorway down the hallway to her room. I yelled out her name and asked her how school was, but got no answer. I got up to follow her and repeat my question. As I walked into the hallway, the very same hallway I had just seen her walk down, I noticed there were no lights on. The hallway was dark, and her room at the end of the hallway was also dark. I said her name again and heard nothing. I turned the light on and went into her room, and she wasn't there either. I figured maybe she went into another room in the house, but I could not find her anywhere. I went back out to check the back door, and to my surprise, it was still unlocked and slightly open, which didn't make any sense because I had just heard my sister close and lock the door when she got home. Confused, I closed the door and locked it, and went back to the living room to grab my phone. As I entered the room, the strangest thing happened. Out of the window, I saw my sister's bus pull up, stop, and I watched her get off the bus and walk up my driveway again. When she came in the house, I told her the weirdest thing just happened. I saw you get off your bus and come inside and lock the door, but you weren't anywhere in the house. Then I looked outside and saw you get off the bus again. And when I checked the door, it was unlocked and open. She responded by saying, "That's really weird, because the door was locked when I came inside, and you usually leave it open for me." I explained how I locked it because I thought she was in the house and thought it was really strange that the door was opened and unlocked without either of us manipulating it. Might I add, my sister was wearing a t-shirt, a scarf, leggings, and boots. Totally different outfit than I saw the first time. I didn't know what I was seeing or what had just happened. I had paranormal experiences in the past, stories that I would be happy to share, but this one really took the cake. I didn't know if this was some kind of entity mimicking my sister and trying to get my attention, or if this was some kind of glitch in reality. But I would love to hear some theories and stories that are similar to mine. Wow, we made it pretty far in that, actually. That was good. No further mistakes were made. Art by Nicole with 2 doll hairs. Your narrations are amazing. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it. Hope your art's going well. Light's Darkness, a generous individual here. $4 says, do you have a girlfriend or wife? Also, I am sick. Also, come over and feed me soup. But nope, I am a Shingle Pringle. Tatiana Gutierrez with the $2. Thank you, Tatiana. Appreciate the 2. And Monica Cerna with the 10 says, as far as I'm concerned, you're pronouncing all words correctly. By the way, you're dope. I'm a big pile of dope. Thank you. You are also dope. Autumn Dreams 79 with the $2 says, do you do your own art? I do not. Well, for the a lot of the thumbnails, those are from stock websites that I pay subscriptions for and stuff, like iStock Photo and stuff like that. Which I need to get a new one because they honestly don't have a lot. Like, I should have did some more research into that, and really found like a website with like a ton of like spooky art. So if anybody has any suggestions and wants to like DM me or email or just let one of the mods know where like the best stock or not necessarily footage, but stock images are for like art and creepy stuff like that. I know B-Busta's got a great like a ton of really cool thumbnail art that he uses and stuff, but as far as the art that goes on in the background during the speed drawings and all that kind of stuff, that is from various artists within our Discord. One is Eikelin. I always wonder if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But she'll do arts, different art, and people will record their drawings, and then I will include that in the background as sort of like a speed drawing, I guess you could say, or a recording of a piece of art. So really, if anybody is an artist of any sort of fashion, or just has something interesting you think that would go in well video-wise in the background of a video, I've included some footage of people walking around abandoned buildings and things like that. Yeah, anything you guys think would be cool, be sure to hit me up. Cashy, it's her birthday coming up this month in March. Wow, that was pretty quick. But I will bless you with a happy early birthday. But you've blessed me with quite a bit here, and I appreciate it. AF, wonder what that stands for. With the $5. Thank you, AF. That is generous, AF. Pisces people. That's something I haven't heard in quite some time. It didn't notify you that we were live. You had to check new videos. Yeah, it's so strange. It's so strange, like how they do like the notifications for like live streams and stuff, because it's like, the channel. I'm a Gemini also. What's everybody's zodiac sign? You know what I'm saying, man? But yeah, I don't know how YouTube notifies people about new stuff anymore. It's so unpredictable. There's got to be like an external. I mean, obviously you can hit that bell. You can hit the bell, which lets you know, but even that's a little unreliable sometimes. Okay, Light's Darkness with the 2 says, maybe for the next video you can do birthday stories. Yeah, those would be good. I'm gonna have to. You guys are having any? I mean, hopefully no one's having a terrible birthday or anything like that. But if you do, write it down and send it in. Cody Rollins with the 2 says, hi from the UK. Love your vids. Thank you, Cody. Hope everything's going okay in the UK. So this next story, y'all, is called I Think My House is Haunted, but the ghost is supremely chill and I love him, so it's all cool. That's like the greatest title I think I may have ever seen in my entire life for a spooky story. That should be the title of like a that should be the title of like a new, what's his name, Raimi horror movie, or just some sort of horror movie. John Woo. Supremely chill ghost. Okay, so this sounds like it might be the opposite of scary, but that's okay. I've had a lot of experiences ever since I was a kid in my house. Every single one could be put down to coincidence or explained in some other way. Forgetfulness, older sister playing a prank, etc. But the sheer volume of experiences make me feel as if it's something more. I don't know what I hope to get in posting this, since it'll probably be drowned out in other stories. I just like talking about my boy. I had an imaginary kid as a child. His name was Andy. I was also a mild sleepwalker and terribly afraid of the dark. I told my parents that Andy, who usually lived in the attic, would come down on a night to make sure I was safe and I didn't leave my room if I got out of bed. I also believed that there was a monster that only Andy would keep me safe from. Now, I was a kid and my mom just put it down to an overactive Crap, my voice cracked. I was a kid. It could be a squirrel. Squirrel comes down, leads you back into the room. Come on now, buddy. Get in there. Now, I was a kid and my mom just put it down to an overactive imagination, which is fair enough. Then one day when I was a little older, we had a letter come to the house intended for a man who used to live here. They hadn't realized he didn't anymore. His name was Andrew and, as I now know, he was dead. This could mean nothing. Andy is a common name. I have uncles called Andy and I watched Andys on TV, but it was enough of a creepy coincidence that it stuck with me. Here are some of my other experiences that I can think of off the top of my head. I had dolls when I was very little. I had this sort of jet ski thing that came with one doll that you could strap to the legs. Doo-doo. Oh, shit. Libras. What are the different personality traits of, people's zodiac signs? Are they accurate? Do you think they're accurate? That's something a Capri Sun would say. I have to go to the shops. Bye. Love your videos. I miss you in your stream. Della, be safe at the shop. You never know. Sometimes the shop buys you. You know what I'm saying? Do you ever go to Walmart and you end up on the shelf and you get sold? It's happened to me a few times. I had dolls when I was very little. I had this sort of jet ski thing that came with one doll that you could strap the legs into, but with my little grubby fingers I could never manage it. I got so frustrated once that I stormed downstairs to fetch my mom. She was too busy to help. When I came back upstairs, my doll was sitting upright in its little ski, all done up. The kitchen scissors went missing once and no one could find them. My mom joked, "It's that ghost again." So I also jokingly said, "Andy, we need those. Can you please have them back?" I found them laying out in the middle of my bedroom floor a minute later, said thanks, and left it at that. One time, the Christmas decoration in the attic mysteriously organized themselves. We often leave them in a tiny bit Oops. Light's darkness with the two says, "I'm going to sleep to get better." Yeah, feel better. Keep that flood your system with that vitamin C and all the other cool stuff that, hippies tell you to eat. Not acid, not Like, not that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Lily G. Beauty with the 10 says, I love your videos. I listen to them on my way to and from work. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited, actually. I've been, since doing the podcast, we are at episode 25, which, how many weeks are in a year? 52, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that means I've literally one more week and I have been doing the podcast for a whole 6 months already. Which, wait, yeah, that's nuts. Like a half a year, that podcast has already zoomed by so fast, and, whoa. Who's Pigtoots? You have a cool little, verified. Oh. What's your channel about, Pigtoots? Welcome. But yeah, it's crazy that the podcast is, like, doing well, so I'm excited to see, like, if it draws in new people and, you know, all that good stuff. Christy and Dev Gonzalez with the $1. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Art by Nicole with the 2 says, I tweeted you a sample of my artwork. Nice. Yeah, Nicole, if you, obviously, if you would want to design thumbnails, or if you record, a lot of people, like I said, record their drawings in the process and then kind of like condense it all into like an hour-long video and do it like a Dropbox send to me. I can, you know, if you feel that you'd like to show off your artwork and stuff, I'd be more than happy to include that in the back of a video. And that's kind of an open invitation to really any artist who feel that their, you know, artwork is of quality. Pigtoots says, just Fortnite crap. Nice to meet you. That's awesome. Are you also getting into the Apex leggings crap as well? All these battle royales, man. Whatever happened to just some good old team deathmatch, you know what I'm saying? Broken Jade with the 5 says, listening to you while at the gym. Quick question. I wanted to start doing ASMR and or reading scary stories. Any tips? Well, get permission for your stories that you read, unless you pull them from like a wiki or something of that nature. But yeah, you know, an ASMR scary story thing would be pretty cool. ASMR is, you know, a little bit easier, I'd say, to break into than like narration, because it's like people are just kind of like jumping at the bit to really hear anything ASMR wise if they're already fans. But you know, it's kind of a saturated market as well, so it's tough to break into YouTube. I gotta be honest. Back when I was at like 20k subs, I was like so ready to quit because I just felt like it wasn't moving as fast as I'd like it to, and all that kind of stuff, and I just didn't have faith in it. But yeah, horror ASMR might be the thing. You might be breaking into a realm otherwise unseen. Pigtooth says, Apex is pretty interesting. I'm just waiting for the big game that isn't a battle royale, to be honest. I know. I was kind of excited for Battlefield, I guess, 5. And you know, of course, they had to pigeonhole a battle royale into that as well. I don't even know if it even released, to be honest, because it came out and had, you know, typical multiplayer, and it looked like pretty cool, but it just died. And like, you know, if your game's not like trending on Twitch or whatever, or all the big gamer kind of stuff, like, it just doesn't seem to get a lot of recognition, and that's just like so sad to me, because there's a lot of good games that definitely don't get the recognition they deserve. Hytale looks cool. Like Minecraft version 2. Sweet. I'm ready for Minecraft 2. Let's go. Where's Notch? Where's Notch when you need him? One time the Christmas decorations in the attic mysteriously organized themselves. We often leave them in a... Oh shit. We often leave them a tiny bit messy when we put them up there after Christmas. No one ever goes into that attic, but I don't know how they ended up all neat. I tried to hold a seance once because I have dumb idiot syndrome, and I can remember this creepy feeling that made me need to stop. I tried to hold a seance once because I have dumb idiot syndrome, and I can remember this creepy feeling that made me need to stop. I know it's not the most exciting thing ever, but it was definitely a sensation that I had never felt before. One time when something else went missing, I called him terrible names, and he knocked over things on my desk. This probably isn't convincing evidence, but I just feel a presence in this house. It's not threatening or anything, it just feels like someone's there, doing his own thing, living his best afterlife. It's entirely possible that, maybe, I'm just crazy. What's the rest say? Overall, Andy is basically just a weird part of the family at this point. There's plenty of more stories for us. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna include any of that. I think that was a good way to end on the I'm just crazy. Okay, this one's gotta be spooky dooky looky. There's that meme going, I mean, it's old, but it was right around, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, it looked like a movie poster, and it was like, the pee-pee poo-poo man. I don't know, that made me laugh, like, really freaking hard. Welcome to the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man. You think I should change my YouTube channel name to Pee Pee Poo Poo Man? Okay, I'm at 11 mistakes. Dude, yesterday, well, for the, sorry, yeah, I didn't stream for the theme video, but I just kind of, like, got to working and didn't really have time to stream, but, yeah, I must have had, like, over, like, 120 mistakes making that, Creepy Teachers Volume 2 stories. Green Turtle says, I can accept a scene kid, but I'm not sure I could be caught listening to Pee Pee Poo Poo Man. Scene kids. It's so weird. I love hearing just all the new, all the cool lingo them kids are saying, you know what I'm saying? Just all these, like, weird terms. Like, it took me forever to figure out what, like, bet, when people are like, bet. Like, you wanna, hey, let's meet up later, alright? Bet. Haha. Bet. Like, you bet. Like, you can't just say you before the you bet. I guess you bet sounds kind of nerdy. You bet. You betcha. Hey, you betcha, buddy. And then what's, like, when people say, like, I stand that. I'm starting to, like, that's starting to, like, move into my my vernacular a little bit, the I stand that. I've never used it in the wild, because I know no one will have any idea what I'm talking about. But Kashi stands Let's Read, and it took me forever to figure out what that meant. Because it's just like, oh, like they understand, or I stand a king. So yeah, the I stand a king, and then, so I was like, I thought it was kind of like one of those things where it's like I'm sofa king, you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like I'm sofa king, tired or whatever, or something like that. And so I thought that was like what that was based around, and then I looked it up on Urban Dictionary like a good little boy, and it had something to do with the Eminem stan, how like the guy was so obsessed with Eminem that he drove himself off a car with his girlfriend. So I hope you guys never take me that seriously, but I do appreciate you standing me. Anybody sick of children saying yeet yet? No, we need more yeets in this world, guys. We need a yeet on every corner. A yeet in every household. Every Amazon Alexa comes with a yeet. Hey Alexa, yeet. Yeet! You betcha. This one is an unexplained encounter and a bit long. About 6 years ago, over the summer of my junior year, going into the senior of fuck. Swear jar. Where's the swear jar, guys? We gotta fill that up. All the things I had to look up on Urban Dictionary. Man, oof. Well, oof, I mean, I knew what oof was. You kind of just, like, got the vibe from oof where you're like, oh, it's like yikes, but for 2019. There should, you know that meme where, like, it's like Lisa Simpson and she comes up on, like, she's giving a presentation on the chalkboard and it should just say, like, oof is just yikes 2019 or something like that. That'd be funny. That was 2 in 1. 2 mistakes in 1. Yoinks. Zoinks. Yeah, you guys need to... Yo, that's what you guys need to do is bring back zoinks. Or jinkies. Jinkies, yo. Yo, jinkies bad. You bet your jinkies ass, man. Zoinks, Raggy. About 6 years ago, over the summer of my junior year, going into my senior year of high school, I experienced something I can't quite shake off to this day. My friend's parents were going out of town for the weekend, so myself and 3 others, including Matt, planned a sleepover so we could all hang out, be as loud as we wanted. We slept over at my friend Matt's house. His house was located on the east side of town where that small wooded area was located. I mentioned this area in a previous post about the scream I heard in my house. That night, we all mentioned how we should sleep on his trampoline since it was warm that night and none of us had done it before. Matt was a little concerned with the idea because he had mentioned that homeless people and sometimes deer wander in and out of the little forest next to his house. There was no fence separating us from the woods, so anything could go in and out of the yard into the forest and vice versa. I told him we were going to be fine and that there was nothing to worry about. Boy, did I wish I could take that statement back. We started setting up our spots on the trampoline, getting cozy and just hanging out, looking at our phones. About an hour into this, I started to hear twigs snapping and leaves crunching. Matt was the only one who wasn't on the trampoline, but sitting on a small river donut on the deck next to the trampoline. He was sitting on this due to an injury that happened to him a few weeks prior to these events. I was looking at Matt while all of this was happening and he was looking into the woods. He didn't say anything other than a quiet, "I told you this was a bad idea." I kept listening for a few minutes and then it stopped. My friends were all listening too, but they didn't seem concerned. It was really quiet after it stopped. None of us said a thing. We all looked back on our phones, and that's when I saw it. The second my eyes met my phone, I saw from my peripheral vision this 7 to 8 foot tall thing run out of the woods, into the backyard, and darted to the side of the house. Oh, I just choked on my spit. Crap. Whoa, where'd you guys get penguin emojis? Those are cute. Those are cute. Guys. Dude, Bigfoot is in this guy's backyard right now. Yo. Oh, wait, Rose is losing connection. Anyone else losing connection? I am curious sometimes if perhaps my bit rate is maybe too high or something like that. Like, if anybody who's more familiar... Yeah, if anybody's more familiar with bit rates and things like that, I presume because I only have like still frames and music and my voice, you don't really need to show a whole lot of frames, but I would like to optimize it for everybody's listening experience here. Oh, Androids. Oh, that's interesting. Androids are having issues. Thank you, George Lucas! Hits blunt. Bigfoot, dude, yeah. Okay. Into the side house. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's when I choked on my spit. Not bit rate, bet rate. Haha, yeah, dude. All we saw was the silhouette, or whatever it was. It was almost as if it was ghostly. It was extremely thin and bipedal. Here's the kicker, though. We saw it run, but we didn't hear it run. It made zero sound when it was moving, but made the motion of someone running. When we saw this, we all did the exact same thing. Screamed and ran off the trampoline. Matt was the first one inside, and I was surprised he was even able to walk, let alone run, because of his injury. We left some blankets and pillows outside because we were in such a hurry. We shut and locked the sliding door, all of the windows and doors we could find. We kept looking out some of the windows to see if we could see anything, but there was nothing. Because we were so startled, we stood up until sunrise to finally go to sleep. I think about what happened on an almost daily basis. Everyone I had told has a theory that it escaped from... Oh shit, I said it. I said the evil word, escaped. That's how I say it. That's how I've said it. But I've been corrected so many times in the comments section that, boy, oh boy, have I learned not be a pronunciation pleb. Don't be a pronunciation pleb and end up like Let's Read. Look up your words. Like, apparently you don't pronounce nuclear. So, nuclear. Nuclear. So it's just like 2 syllables, not nuclear. Nuclear sounds so normal to me, though, but I don't know if it's because George Bush read it that way back in the day, and he was my king, you know. JK. Anyways. But it's escaped. Enunciation on the S. Escaped. I escaped my backyard. I asked him a question. I escaped. Bigfoot. I think about what happened on an almost daily basis. Everyone I have told has a theory that it escaped from the mountains next to the forest. For a little backstory, I live in Magna, Utah. The mountains on the east side that separate us from Thule? Oh man. Every time I come, is it Thule? Any Mormons here? Tell me about how to pronounce this. Do 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 do.
Tuella.
Tuella? Are you kidding me? That's next level wrong. That's next level wrong, dictionary lady. Is it Thule? Nuclear. Wait, it isn't pronounced nuclear? No, it is. I believe it's pronounced nuclear. It's just like so weird to say. I feel like it should have like espresso. Can I get an espresso? It's a see but that's like the hardcore espresso. Oh, you need to start a company, Kirsten. You need to start a company called Espresso, and it literally has like 6 shots in 1 Keurig cup. Boom! I just made you like $50. Etc. You know, etc. Okay, I actually have to figure out how to pronounce Thule. That's kind of bad. Thule. The greatest city in Utah. Oh, that's good. That's quite a claim to make, Thule. Think you can just go around saying you're the best? I think you gotta prove it, buddy, buckaroo. Okay. The correct pronunciation is Tuella. Oh, Tuella. Dude, that's often, however, newcomers, however, often pronounce it Tool, Thule, or Tuwilly. Tuwilla. Wow, Tuwilla. I wasn't ready for that. My heart was not ready. My heart was not in the right place for this pronunciation. Tuella. The Fairy Princess Tuella, Utah. The mountains on the east side that separate us from Tuella are said to house some sort of secret military base where experimentation and other things are done on who knows who or what. I've had dreams of myself finding the base and going inside it. If any of you have played... If any of you have played the game Half-Life, you can get an idea of what it looked like according to my dream. Alright, we're gonna skip that part. Yeah. The mountains on the east side that separate us from Tuella are said to house some sort of secret military base where experimentation... Oh my god. Alright gamers, let's get this. Let's get this bread. Let's get this yeast. Oh shit, I pressed record as I said yeast. Crap. The mountains on the east side that separate us from Tuella are said to house some sort of secret military base where experimentation and other things are done on who knows who or what. Alright, that's where I'm gonna just cut the story there. I got a math test tomorrow and I don't know any identities. What is... I don't get it. Is that a... Yeah, I'll just add the yeast at the end of the next video. What is this? I'm imagining in the video there's an accidental yeast. There will be. You just wait your little Tuella caboose. Eat food and narrate. I don't have any food here. You know what I love? And it's the best thing ever. Dates. Pitted dates. They're literally like dried giant... They're like dried raisins, but they're... Or I guess they're like prunes almost. But they're just like covered in like essentially naturally occurring syrup. Which I guess syrup is kind of naturally occurring or whatever. Yeah, I know. I am a 98. Hey, it helps with my bowel movements, keeps me regular. But it's just so good. And it just How did that makes you vomit? Why would that make you vomit? Now you're craving chicken wings. My favorite full meal, best meal in the universe. Oh my lord. Oh my lord, that's a good question. I would say maybe I love lasagna. Not the B lasagna, like T-Series, but like actual, just amazingly took 3 hours to freaking cook lasagna. My mom used to make it. Well, I guess she could still make it. She'd just go kick down her door and make me make it right now. Mom! Mom, I need faded. DV8, you make a killer lasagna, you're gonna have to bring that over. Oh, butter sucks, bitch lasagna. That's our cult meal. Our communion dinner. Cashy takes 3 hours to cook. Put a fork in her. Do you not like spaghetti? I mean, honestly, spaghetti's one of those things where, like, I've had it, but I've never had, like, the best spaghetti I've ever had. It's kind of like, you know, I've had, like, really good pizzas, but I think that's because I've had the opportunity to experience pizza in so many forms from so many places. Obviously, it's a cultural phenomenon, you know, bread covered in sauce and cheese, whatever else. But I don't make an concerted effort to go experience spaghetti, I feel like, as much as I should. And there is a certain amount of spaghetti that you should try in your life, and I don't reach that quota. So please send me some in the form of fan mail to the P.O. box down below. Just kidding. There's no P.O. box. I should do a P.O. box, but then I would just get like ricin and bombs probably, so... I know you guys. Always sending them bombs. Pressure cookers. Alright, anyways. This one's called The Restaurant Off the Highway. Karen's making sketty tonight. Press F, guys, for... Let's pay some respects to sketty. Because we're all eating it alive. This story was relayed to me by a colleague and friend. Before joining our organization, this colleague worked as a tour guide. At this time this story happened, he worked for a tour company that specialized in Japanese and Korean tourists. He was assigned to work the trips going to the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. Look at all those F's. Spartan is making fun of my mistakes, dude. He's cyberbullying me, yo. It's okay. I like to be cyberbullied. One day when we get to hang out, I'll make spaghetti sauce from effing Scratch Beach. Thank you, Spooky. I honestly... Oh no. Thomas is... Well, first off, Thomas, thank you for the 5. But he's asking me to say something that is dang near impossible. Rural squirrel. Rural squirrel. Rural squirrel. Everyone say that at home with me. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Rural squirrel. Rural squirrel. Can you record a clip of you moaning? Is it a painful moan? Is it a pleasurable? Like, we need to decipher which kind of moan we're talking about. Thank you, Thomas, for the Fiverr. Fiverr.com. Your mouth was full of food when you said rural squirrel. That's funny. Okay. Let's rock and roll, baby. Oh my gosh, Kashi. You crazy. Kashi P. with the 21 Canadian maple dollars. Joel, you should actually do a P.O. box. One of my favorite YouTubers, Jenna Mercy, has one, but she does unboxing videos. Please do it. Yeah, unboxing videos would be sweet. That's like iDubbbz's go-to stuff, and people send him like what looks to be a PS4 or something, but it actually is just filled with like rat pee or something. I haven't watched iDubbbz in a while. I don't know if you guys watch him at all, but he's a pretty funny guy. He's like a pretty funny guy, you know. He say like a joke or two. Did someone say nope? A. We were thinking about I, the 11th letter in the alphabet. I don't know if it's the 11th. Guys, double check that. Is it the 11th letter? Let's read exposed. Doesn't know his alphabet number correlation. Before joining our organization, this colleague worked as a tour guide. At this time this story happened, he worked for a tour company that specialized in Japanese and Korean tourists, and he was assigned to work the trips going to the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. It should be noted that there now is a major highway that links the east coast and... oh, fuck. It should be noted that now a major highway that links the east coast and east coast, but... links the east coast. Is there another? Are there two east coasts? Should be noted that there now is a major highway that links the east coast. We'll just say west coast. Think that's what he's trying to convey here. Content cop on Let's Read. I hope he does it and just falls asleep like as his video goes on, and then the rest of his video is just my voice for an hour straight. Neglect Official, much love from Cali. Thank you. On the West Side. It should be noted that there now is a major highway that links the East Coast and West Coast, but at the time, the highway was in the process of being built, and while most of the highway was intact, there were still stretches where you would need to take the trunk roads through towns and villages before rejoining the highway some miles ahead. He was supposed to meet a small group of Japanese tourists at the airport and escort them on their small bus to... Oh no, another place. Another place! How do you pronounce this? Kuantan? Kuantan, Malaysia? Sometimes I do the definition, and you'll get the pronunciation along with it.
Kuantan.
Kuantan. Kuantan sounds okay to me. What do you guys think? Kuantan? Here we go. Weep, wap, wibbity doob dap, doo 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 doo. Turts or rats? What do I want to eat if our country falls into socialist control? I would love to have a rat, sir. Thank you. Battletoads, that'd be sick. Wait, okay, Kuantan, where's Kuantan? Okay. He was supposed to meet a small group of Japanese tourists at the airport and escort them on their small bus to Kuantan, a major tourist town in the East Coast, which was more than 4 hours away at the time. The weather was bad that night and the plane was delayed. By the time they go on their way, it was already 9 p.m. A little more than an hour out of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia's capital, a member of the tour group asked my friend if there was somewhere that they could stop to get something to eat because some of the tourist members were famished. My friend said he would do what he could. He then asked the same to the driver. This was not their regular driver. He was standing in for the regular driver who unfortunately had taken ill. So the driver said he did not know, but he would look for an all-night place along the way. By that time, they had reached the section of the highway that was under construction, thus they had to take the parallel road. They drove a little further when the driver and my friend saw an open-air restaurant which seemed to be quite lively, just after a small town they had just passed, so they stopped there. The tour group alighted? What the hell? Alighted? The tour group alighted and went about getting their refreshment. Is that a word? Yeah, Cassie's from Canada. She's gonna have to build a wall to keep us out here soon, so. Batten down the hatches, Cassie, because we are coming. We are coming. And I do a re. I do a re all day, every day. At home. I relay a message. I respond to a text. I replenish my water bottle. I all day long. I'm an honorary Canadian, thank you. What the heck's going on with Justin Trudeau? Is he in big trouble? What's going on with that guy? He's a naughty boy. Okay. So we have to figure out exactly what the word, well, first off, where it is in this big pile of letters. Pointing to the patch of land down stood surrounded. Okay. Driver's face. Okay. A few days later. No. The tour group. Okay, there it is. Can we think of another word? The tour group. I don't know what alighted is. I'm not sure if it's aligned. Tour group aligned and went about. Exited. We'll say exited. The tour group exited and went about getting their refreshments. My friend helped them with translations, and he also got some food for himself and the driver. Less than an hour later, they were back on the bus and heading to Kuantan. The tourists were very happy with their stop because they said the food was excellent. A few days later, they were on their way back to the west coast with the same tour group, but it was daytime, and this time the regular driver was driving. A tour member asked my friend if they could stop at the place where they had stopped on their first day. Again, my friend said that he would do what he could. He told this to the driver. The driver asked him to describe the place, which he did. The driver's face went a little pale. A little later, they came to a place that seemed familiar to my friend, and the driver asked him, "Is that the place you mean?" Pointing to a patch of land where a rundown building stood surrounded by what was once a clearing with a few tables and broken chairs. There was also tall grass everywhere. My friend recognized the place. It was indeed the place where they had stopped a few days earlier. He turned to the tour group and informed them that they would not be able to stop at the place they went to earlier because it was only open at night. They sighed, but left it at that. Later, when they could talk in private, my friend asked the driver about the place. The driver informed him that the place had indeed been a restaurant with outdoor eating area around it. But it had been abandoned for a year since something terrible happened there, and the business went under. Son of a gun, okay. The driver informed him that the place had indeed been a restaurant with outdoor eating. God damn it. Soylent Green is people. The driver informed him that the place had indeed been a restaurant with an outdoor eating area around it, but it had been abandoned for a year since something terrible happened there, and the business went under. The driver didn't know what that terrible incident was, but it led to more than one death. That stretch of highway has since been completed, and the parallel road is only rarely used. I've used that road once to see if I could find the place. I followed my friend's description, and I think I found the place, but there were only the remains of an old building there with tall grass all around it. Perhaps I should try going there at night, if only to see if the food was really that good. Boom, shakalaka daka. Bakalaka Daka Street. Ooh, man, I'm Jake Sully. Nice. Living in PA? Hey, PA is a good state. Place to be. Why did the turtle cross the street without parental supervision? Because he was an orphan. Wait, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Please, somebody out there in the Twitterverse, help me understand this joke. Someone told a joke and I don't get it. I don't know how stuff happened in this house, but I can make different posts, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Spartan. I'm doing actually pretty good if that's just mistake 24. Because the one time, I think the last stream I had like 80 some mistakes, maybe 90. So this is top-notch quality. Professional reader. My dad's a magician. He walked down the street and turned into a bar. These jokes need some refining. Oh, Spartan, I'm talking about the last stream. Now, the last recording I had like 125. Now, the last stream... See, I work better under pressure, you know what I'm saying? Kinda need the audience to keep me on my toes. This was back when I was in high school. My mom used to say she heard and saw stuff, but I always thought that she was just exaggerating and being annoying. One day I was home alone playing video games in my room. I had my headset on. This was when Modern Warfare 2 was all the hype. So I had my volume up high, and through the headphones I hear someone yell, "Jacob," coming from the kitchen. I'm playing online, so I couldn't pause it, so I yelled back, "What?" Didn't get a response. Figured my mom needed help with the groceries or something, but I had 4 minutes left in the match. I'll finish up. I heard my name again. "Jacob." I yelled back. "About to be done, I'll be there in a minute," I yelled. So the game finishes, and I go to the kitchen, and nobody is there. Go to my parents' room. Nobody in there. Looked in the driveway. No car. I call my mom and ask her where she's at, and she says that she's at Walmart and she'll be home in a bit. I could feel the blood draining from my face. I never told my mom because she'd just freak herself out more than... Whoops. Oh my gosh, everybody knows how old I am. The jig's up, boys. Cassie's gonna have to get up out of bed to get to the computer. Whew. Here we go, ladies and gents. I never told my mom because she would just freak herself out more, but it was scary. Does anybody have anything God. Does anybody have something similar happen to them? I'm not sure how this group works, but I have other stuff that had happened and I want to cram it into one post. Update. I had just gotten out of the shower. Nobody was home. I had my towel on around my waist and I had opened the door to let the steam out as I brushed my teeth. I started to hear the sound of plastic bags being moved around and I heard the refrigerator door close. I figured my parents were home, so I shut the door. When I finished brushing my teeth, I went into my room, and as I walked in there, I could still hear the rustling of plastic bags. I kept thinking, man, they bought a lot of groceries, as I was changing. I finished putting on my clothes and went to the kitchen to help put up groceries. I stopped hearing the rustling at that point. I didn't see any bags or anything. I looked in the refrigerator, and it didn't look like groceries had been put in there. It had happened again. I went and sat outside for a while. Finally took off to a friend's house on my bike and called my parents a little later. Sure enough, they had been at my sister's house the whole time. I was... shite. I wanted to convince myself that I was hearing things again, but I remember it to this day how clear I heard it, and it still gives me chills. I'm an only child. My house was always just my dad, mom, and I. Wait, he just said that he was at his sister's house. I'm an only child. What the freak? This guy's pulling our chain here, friends. Oh, crap. Wait. Did he not just say that he was at his sister's house, or did I get that? His dad's sister? Maybe. I had the towel around my waist. Looked at the refrigerator. Happened again. I went outside. I finally took my friend's house. Called my parents a little later. Sure enough, they had been at my sister's house. And then suddenly... That's weird. Well, we're gonna have to, change that up a bit, I guess. I don't know what else to do, because it sounds very wrong, I guess. My sister is quite a bit older, so my house was always just my dad, mom, and I. So I always had my own room. My mom always liked the antique look of the house, so for some reason, when I need a computer chair, she got me the... What? God. So I always had my own room. My mom always liked the antique look of the house, so for some reason, when I needed a computer chair, she got me this big leather... Damn it. She got me this big red leather computer chair. It says real... It is... What is these words? It as real comfy, but it was... God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. I suck at reading. Okay. She got me this big red leather... I can't even read it. I literally can't even read this story. She got me this big red leather computer chair. It's real comfy, but it was huge. I hated how much room it took up, but I kept it anyways because I liked how it made me look like a villain. Sometimes I'd spin around in it when people came in my room and pretended I was wearing an eye patch and petting a cat. I was facing my window away from my computer area where the chair was sitting when I woke up one night to the sound of squeaking. Like a long squeak. Damn it, my voice just squeaks trying to say the word squeak. Red leather, yellow leather. Did I say both colors? Oh my god. I can't skip it. Because I need it. I needs it for the video. Oh boy. Been around people and pretended I was wearing an eye patch and petting a cat. I was facing my window, away from my computer area where the chair was sitting when I woke up one night to the sound of squeaking. Like a long squeak. Like it always made when I would turn around in it, and then it stopped. I was awake, but I had my eyes closed. I knew it was the chair, but I didn't turn around because I guess the fear froze me up. I heard it again, and this time I opened my eyes, but still didn't turn around to hear it. I heard it one more time, but it was in sections, such as multiple squeaks. I just closed my eyes after that and eventually fell asleep. I didn't even want to turn around. A couple of months passed after that. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, putting on my shoes to go to the gym. The edge of my bed is directly in front of the bedroom door, and in front of it is the kitchen. It's a very small one, or like a small hallway with a fried... The fried? A small hallway with a fried? Dude, I feel like I would be the worst English teacher. Well, I feel like I would be a mean English teacher if I ever taught English. It's a very small one, more like a small hallway with a fried and sink. Oh, fridge. How do you forget the G? It's okay. It's alright. It's alright. Everything's cool. Everything's totally cool! A deep fryer. That'd be sick if your hallway had a deep fryer. The edge of my bed is directly in front of the bedroom door, and in front of it is the kitchen. It's a very small one. More like a small hallway with a fridge and sink and counters and stove. When I looked up, I saw 6 figures, which looked like 2 hands were holding the door, but it was eye level, so it had to... Freaking crap, dude. Oh my lord, this is a tough... It's just like one big cluster of words. Letters. Yeah, this is reading rage. This is what happens whenever... Oh my lord. I don't even know how to explain it without coming off like a total jerk. When I looked up, I saw 6 figures. 6 fingers. Oh my lord. When I looked up, I saw 6 fingers which looked like 2 hands were holding the door, but it was at eye level. So it had to a child's... I can't... I don't even know. It's like I have to like rewrite it. This is a sabotage story. Someone out there is trying to kill me. Trying to make me make mistakes. What is this even saying? When I looked up, I saw 6 fingers, which looked like 2 hands were holding the door, but it was at eye level, so it had to a child's hand, and I saw the top of what looked like black hair. Oh boy. Jake Soley with the 2. Put your butter socks on so you don't make mistakes. I am trying, man. I am lathered in butter, and I'm still just cannot fumble my way through this right now. The top. But it says vert. Oh, it's okay. Alright. Oh, we've come this far. We got literally this like wall of text to get through. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for your sleep, I promise. When I looked up, I saw a 6-finger. Damn it. When I looked up, I saw 6 fingers, which looked like 2 hands were holding the door, but it was at eye level. So it had to have been a child's hand. And I saw the very top of what looked like black hair. The way the hands and top of the head were made, it looked like it was holding itself up horizontally. Now before you ask, no, I did not do a double take. It was not something I kinda just glanced. I stared at it for a good 3 seconds. I kicked the door closed as hard as I could and took off running to my friend's house. I am 6'2", 290... Okay. He's 6'2", 295 pounds. Okay. Good to know. I was a 6'2", 295 pound defensive end for my school. I didn't scare easily, but I was scared that day. I left for college after I graduated and didn't experience anything there, but then my dad started calling me. My dad's an old school construction worker, very serious and always rolled his eyes when he heard my mom was seeing stuff. I did too, till they started happening to me. So my dad called me one night and told me he was experiencing things. I knew I wasn't crazy. So I was once again, he's an only child that has a sister. This is like the weird, this is bad news, bro. Alright, so I was an only child, so when I left it was just, I don't. No, Spooky, this is not a big deal. I just, honestly, this has nothing to do with that whole process. It's just, I'm so bad at reading, like, walls of text. I just, can't do it. I'm so bad at it. Because you look at, a wall of text and you're just, your brain, ADD goes to, every other letter besides the one that's after the one you need to read, and, my dad's old school construction where I did too, so he mentioned he's an only child again. It's just, really weird. I won't include that. So when I left for college, it was just my dad and mom at the house. He tells me that he woke up at 5 a.m. like he always does, started his pot of coffee, and got dressed for work. When he got back, the coffee pot was off the coffee maker and didn't think much of it because he figured he had just forgotten to put it on the machine since he was probably still groggy from waking up. A couple of days later, same thing happened except the pot was closer to the sink. Again, he wasn't one to believe in stuff like that, so he shrugged it off as him doing it and blaming it on being an automatic. Again, he wasn't one to believe in stuff like that, so he just shrugged it off as him doing it and blaming it on being in automatic mode in the morning. It happened again a third time, but this time the coffee pot was on the floor. When he saw that, he ran to my mom's room to see if she wasn't playing some trick on him. She was stone asleep. He drained the coffee, and in the coffee pot was some change. 37 cents, I think he said. He was freaked out. I don't have any little brothers or kids who might be playing tricks on him. Currently, it's just my mom and dad. A couple of years passed by. I now have a daughter. She's about 3 years old. I had just gotten divorced, so I moved in with my parents till I got back on my feet and got my own place. My daughter was playing with her little kitchen playset, and I'm in the kitchen making her some... Yeah, we're making up all the mistakes here, yeah. This is like a challenge run right now. A couple of years pass by. I have a daughter. She's about 3 years old. I had just gotten divorced, so I moved in with my parents till I got back on my feet and got my own place. My daughter was playing with her little kitchen playset, and I'm in the kitchen making her some food. I hear her talking in her baby voice. Mine. It's mine, my toy. I think she has an imaginary friend, so I don't think anything of it. A couple of minutes pass, and she let out a yelp and starts crying. So I run to her, thinking she had smashed a finger on a door or something, and I pick her up and hug her and ask her what's wrong, and she says, "He's scary." I said, "Who?" and she points towards the kitchen. So I ask her simple questions. Is he tall or short? Using my hands as a measuring stick. She points at the tall gesture. I asked what color. She pointed at white. I asked her what color. She pointed at... Oh, you guys suck, God. I asked her what color. Pointed at white. She said no. I pointed at red. She said no again. I pointed at black, and she said yes. I asked her if it was pretty or ugly, and she said ugly. A couple of weeks pass by again, and my daughter is sleeping with me in my old room. I feel her sliding down towards the bottom part of the bed. My initial reaction is that she is moving around, but it was a smooth feeling like she was being pulled by her feet. So I sit up as fast as I could. As soon as I realize it, and she was knocked asleep. Knocked asleep? My initial reaction is that she is moving around, but it was a smooth feeling like she was being pulled by her feet. So I sit up as soon as I could. So I sit up as fast as I could soon as I realized it. Oh my God. Okay. My initial reaction is that she is moving around, but it was a smooth feeling like she was being pulled by her feet, so I sit up as soon as I realized it, and she was fast asleep. I get up, turn on the lights, and start looking around the room, and found nothing. I don't know if my mind was playing tricks on me because I had just woken up out of nowhere, but it felt real to me. Maybe I was dreaming, but after everything that had happened over the years, I didn't think it was logically explainable anymore. I moved out shortly after that. I never saw or heard anything again where I live now. My parents still live there, and my mom says she hears things every now and then, but nothing huge like what I've seen and heard. Yeah, this is April Fool's. Do you guys think I should bring back, what's his name? Yellow, or Colonel Mustard? What was it? Sir Mustard, or something. You guys know what I'm talking about? I feel like an idiot. I don't even remember. My brain is so broken right now, which doesn't help me with. Yeah, the funny guy. You know, the funny guy. Let's see. When does April Fool's fall this year? It falls on a Monday, so that's part of the read schedule. But it's so funny because every time I release it, yeah, the Morgan Freeman guy, he's awesome. I think he's awesome. He writes really funny stories, and his narration is great. People say, why can't you read the funny stories? But I just don't I just don't have the sea mustard. Yeah, sea mustard. Blue Note with the 10 says, a little gift for making it through the last story. Thank you, Blue Note. Sorry about that. I just honestly, my brain, like, I'm just so bad. Like, as the day goes on, I just like start to have Alzheimer kick in there. Caitlin Toskella with the 5 says, "Just love me." We love you, Caitlin. Thank you for the 5. Hey, Lucy is here. What's up, Lucy? I haven't seen you in a long time. A gaming gamer. He does have the funniest stories. Oh my lordy, look who's 40. C Mustard was just demonetized, so I'm sure he would love the help. Yeah. That sucks. I can't understand what's going on with this, like, a lot of, like, because it's not even just, like, small narration channels, like, because, what's his name, Yearmaker was demonetized. Thankfully, he's got such a large following that he was able to get people to, like, retweet till YouTube, like, remonetized him. And it's just like so strange. Yeah, and Mr. Extremes. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. And if you don't, it'd be sweet if you did, because Mr. Extremes recently put out a tweet trying to get the attention of, like, @Team YouTube or whatever, because he's a fantastic narrator, and for whatever reason, because of the weird glitches in YouTube's whole demonetization system, he got demonetized, and basically it's all just like kind of like an automated glitch, and I don't know, really need to get YouTube's, or the support team at YouTube's attention so we can get this figured out, because it just sucks. It's like I'm kind of, well, first off, Caitlin, thank you so much for the 10, another dono there. I hope you had a good day. Yeah, today was good, and we are still having a good day here, trucking along. Yeah, YouTube is tripping hard right now because everything's run by a computer, and the computer is so fallible, but, like, I don't know. I don't understand, like, why they have all these, like, blanket ways of demonetizing things. Owen with the $4. Thank you, Owen. That's a cool last name. Helmkamp. Straight out of Deutschland. But so I don't know if anybody has any experience with, like, YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of March, in March 27th, I will be out of my terrible contract that I was with a particular network, which you guys might be familiar with YouTube networks, but they're just worthless. Don't ever join them. They're so stupid. And basically, whenever I exit out of that, I might have to be re-evaluated by YouTube's monetization system, and I'm worried it's going to be like the same situation that, like, where I could potentially be demonetized, which has me very scary. And has me very scared. And yeah, I'm going to probably, if that goes into effect or something like that, where I am having issues. I think it should go smoothly. I hope it will, but it's a new experience for me as a YouTuber, essentially being completely on my own and all that kind of stuff. But I might need you guys to make some noise at some point here at the end of March, early April time frame, or end of March, yeah, in relation to that, just to kind of get YouTube's attention. I mean, obviously nothing's happened thus far and everything's good, but it's just one of those things that I don't know what to expect. And I think that's one of the most frustrating parts about going full-time with YouTube, is like that it's kind of a volatile market at times, and you're just kind of a number to them, which kind of sucks. King Akoni with the 5 says, "Bro, I love your stories so much. I listen to them while I deliver Uber Eats." That's awesome. I need to do more Uber Eats. It is scary. Some robot one day just says you are demonetized and it's over, and then YouTube is like ultra political as well, because it's like kind of like a political, mega power at this point, because there's so much influence, and so people go through issues with that. and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's such an awesome platform because it's just like brought so many people together, and so many hours of entertainment, and so many like people have like made a living, like an actual living off of doing something they love, myself included. And obviously that's just so thankful to you guys and this whole process for working out the way it has. But hi Lizzie, welcome to the stream, stram. But yeah, at the same time, it's just, if I can get through March here, and get that figured out, I will feel great. I will feel very good. Alright, so let's see this next story. It's always fun after I struggle with one story, if the next story has like even decent grammar, I'm like on point. Big Avocado, have a good night. And Brandy, thank you, I appreciate it. I do really appreciate you guys' help. It's good to know that this community is so awesome. Yeah, definitely the having the backup option of nursing is certainly there, but it would just be so hard to give up something as awesome as this, you know what I mean? And I just hope everything works out for the best, and that's all you can really do. Cassie Black with the 1, thank you, Cassie. Oh yeah, guys, join our Discord. Come chat with us there. There's a lot of good people. I was 17 in 1992 when, due to financial difficulties, my family and I were forced to move into my grandmother's condominium in Claremont, California. We had come into some hard times, and my mother could no longer afford the house my 2 brothers and sisters and I grew up in. My grandmother shared this condo with my Aunt Rosie. My grandmother had just turned 90 while my aunt was somewhere in her late 80s. This was not enough room for all of us, so my brothers and I would take turns sleeping, either on one of 2 couches or on the floor. My aunt had 2 rooms that were considered her own. One was her bedroom, and the other was a room with a couch and a TV. On one particular night, I was the lucky one who got to sleep in this room. I was always more than happy to sleep on a couch rather than the floor. We all were. As I was readying myself to sleep, there was an overwhelming eerie sense of darkness that I could not deny. This was a different kind of darkness, one that I didn't understand then, but do now. This darkness was not physical, but spiritual, a blackness that could be felt. I tried not to trip out because... oh shit. Tanner Banks with the 2 says, don't spend it all in one place. No, thank you, Tanner. Anything honestly really helps, so I do appreciate it. Oh yeah, Discord. Yeah, Discord is. Wait, what? Discord is asking for a huge payment? What are you talking about, Jake? That should never. Something called Discord Nitro. Well, yeah, I think that's just like for premium services on there, but you should be able to access everything, like, for free. It's weird. No creamy cookies. Yeah, Discord's free, and it's cool too. All your friends should do it. I tried not to trip out about this because I knew that when I awake, this feeling would be gone and I would feel silly. As I began to drift, I heard a deep guttural growl of what could only be 1 inch from my left ear. I jumped off the couch and flipped on the light. I was alone. Instantly I knew it was an evil spirit. If this thing were to have manifested flesh and blood, its lips would have practically been touching my ear when it growled. Naturally, I wanted a mattressly. Naturally, this scared me, but as a Christian, I was taught that through Jesus Christ I have authority over such evil spirits. I decided that it was time to exercise this authority. I prayed and rebuked. To rebuke in a Christian sense is to command, in Jesus' name, the demonic spirit to leave. The Bible says that if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. I've rebuked this thing a countless amount of times before. I felt that maybe it was safe to try to sleep once again. As I lay on the verge of crossing over into sleep for a second time, again an inch from my ear I heard something otherworldly. This time it wasn't a deep guttural growl, but a wicked, hissing, screeching-like angry whisper. What stood out to me from both of these voices is its scornful hatred for me. This hatred was not based on anything I did. This thing hated me for merely existing. This time my knee-jerk reaction was to throw my fists. When you can feel and hear a presence right next to you, 99% of the time when you're flailing your fists about, you're going to hit something. But once again, there was nothing there. Now I'm confused. I commanded this thing to leave, and not only did it not leave, but I think I angered it. I did not sleep until the sun came up. I recognized this as a test of my faith. About a week later, it was once again my turn to sleep in my Aunt Rosie's room. Was I concerned? You better believe it. But I hate being afraid, and I was determined to conquer this fear. I mustered up all my faith, prayed, and began to drift. This time there was no guttural growl, nor was there any demonic, windy hissing. I heard what sounded like a dungeon door slam shut, immediately followed by the mystifying, tormented scream of women. The scream was not like one who is quickly spooked and quickly brushes off her fright, but its expression of terror endured. I'd say it was a good 20 seconds of an enduring scream, loud and intense. It was like someone was failing to endure the flames of hell. Just like the previous week in this room, I sprung from the couch, but this time I bolted directly to the living room where my mother typically slept on a pull-out bed. She was still asleep, but how is that possible, I wondered. The scream was so loud I remember thinking that the entire condo complex should have heard it, but yet here's my mother, sleeping undisturbed. I woke her. "Mom, what was that?" She honestly didn't know what I was talking about. I was soon to find nobody heard this but me. Completely dumbfounded, I sat on a chair in the living room trying to make sense of these things in my head. The chair I sat upon was adjacent to the den where my brothers slept. I happened to look up into the darkness of the den, and I saw at knee level 2 beaming eyes of red staring back. It was too dark to make out any form of the body, but if there was enough light to see more, I am sure I would have seen this being in crawling position. At this point, I was so tired of being scared I simply stared it down, but God knows how long before it finally vanished. That night, I didn't sleep until the sun had risen. The fact that this being continued to pester me and not respond to my rebukes bothered me for some time to come. All these years it had become clear to me why that was. There I was, boldly engaging in spiritual warfare, but I was rebuking the symptoms of this oppression rather than the heart of this attack. I believed that I had confronted my Aunt Rosie and commanded this evil spirit to leave here. God damn it. We made it pretty far. Tell her it's just Joel. It's just me, guys. I fell down into the burning ring of fire. Yeah, there should be either one of the mods can invite you to the Discord through the chat there, or I think there's an invite down in the description below in the bio. I believe I had confronted my Aunt Rosie. Wait, what the hell? Believe that I had confronted my Aunt Rosie and commanded this evil spirit. Okay. I believe that I had confronted my Aunt Rosie and commanded this evil spirit to leave her. I would have gotten the results I was seeking. I don't believe my aunt was possessed, although she may have been, but she was certainly oppressed. My mother, on occasion, would catch my aunt, when she thought she was alone, looking at something that wasn't there and speaking to this something that could not be audibly heard. "I told you to leave me alone. Get out of here," Rosie would say. My mother would ask her, "Aunt Rosie, who are you talking to?" Realizing she was caught in this recourse like a child with her hand caught in a cookie jar, she would become sheepish and avoid giving a real answer by saying, "Oh, it was nothing." I was somewhat relieved when one night it was my brother Brian's turn to sleep in Aunt Rosie's room, and he, not yet knowing of my experiences in that room, shared in a lot of what I did. He did not hear any demonic voices in his ear, but did hear what sounded like a dungeon door slam shut, followed by a woman's scream. There was a strange comfort in knowing I was not alone in this. My sister, Michelle, went on to have her own experiences, even to the point where she saw a full-on apparition appear before her. This activity stopped one day. It wasn't until later that we realized that it all stopped once Aunt Rosie moved out of my grandmother's condo to live with her son. Evidently, she took this spirit, or spirits, with her. A few years later, it came to be that I had adopted a party lifestyle. A group of fellow party buddies and I liked to gather in remote locations in hopes of not running into an authority figure. We were all drinking and smoking, and many of us were underage. I remember hearing rumors about Satanists that would get together in this location and perform their rituals, whatever that might be. I didn't think much of it. My buddies and I were in the midst of having a great time, standing on an out-of-place slab of cement getting thoroughly loaded. I happened to glance behind me, and I saw something moving fast out of the corner of my eye. I turned to see. It was a spirit of light. It moved at will and ran as if it were running in an incalculable speed. It happened so fast I wasn't able to get a good sight. Sometimes I talk faster than my brain can muster. Mistake number 40. 2/5 to 100. Thank you for that. Quick mass. Quick mass. Wait, what? It literally won't give you an option to skip Nitro and pay $9.99. Oh my god. That's so weird. Maybe there's another way to... If you don't have Discord, it's not working though. Huh. Wonder if you could make a Discord first through their website and then join, but I've never heard of it forcing Nitro upon people. That's very strange. Maybe, yeah, I got a trial? I don't know. It's weird. Awkward Ashes. With the 5 says, love these stories and streams. Also, thanks for sharing my picture earlier. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Awkward Ashes. Thank you for buying some merch. You got 2 shirts that you were repping, and I really appreciate that. Anybody who buys merch and, hits me up on Instagram, I'm more than happy to share that beautiful picture with the world. So, thank you so much for that. It happened so fast I wasn't able to get a good look at it. In shock, I turned to my friend, known as Red-Headed Dave, standing next to me to see if he saw what I saw. He had the same look of bewildered fear about his face that I was wearing. He asked me, "Did you see that?" He saw it longer and better than I did, and said there was what looked like a scrawny old man in light. We had no idea what to make of it. Our fellow friends missed it. Oh, R wrong, okay. Our fellow friends missed it entirely as they were looking in another direction. Later that same night, Dave was with me when I returned to my grandmother's condo complex. We were walking around the area discussing how weird our earlier experience was when we came across a condo with a lemon tree in the backyard. Its branches were hanging over a wall over the street we were walking. We jumped and both grabbed a lemon. We decided to have a contest to see who can throw their lemon the furthest down the parking lot street. I realize as I'm writing this that this could very well be a you had to be there moment that you won't fully appreciate otherwise, but regardless, I'm going to write it out exactly as it happened. We both chuckled. Oh, shit. Chuckled. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know about the nitro thing. I mean, like, I've never heard of anybody having issues with nitro and stuff like that, so that's really strange. We both chucked our lemons as far as we could. It felt like I threw mine too far to the left and that I likely hit someone's condo or something. He thought he threw his too far to the right, likely over a fence into a field. It was too dark to see either way from our shit. Lucy Herring, what's going on? I see you're saying Joel, Joel, Joel. She's starting a Joel chant. Joel, 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 Joel. Make sure you log onto Discord first, then click the invite link and hit cancel. Yeah, this has gotta be just like a weird issue. Sorry, Lucy, you've started the Joel chant. Joel, Joel. Yeah, I mean, don't get yourself into a situation with that Discord where it's trying to con you out of some money, because clearly that's not what we're trying to do. Oh, you want me to join your Discord server? I don't really join people's Discord servers because I just don't see the point. Like, if I joined it like with a specific purpose, like to play video games with those people on something specific, or it's like a community that I needed to be part of, but if I can just talk to you over DM or, you know, whatever, I feel like that makes more sense to me. Yeah, are we keeping a track of how many burps I'm burping tonight? Joel's cat, Joel's cat, Joel's cat. We gotta stir him up. He's not in the room right now though, but he can always use some cheering. Well, Dave, the reason I want you to join mine is because that's where I will be, my friend. But me joining other people's, it's like, if you've been on Discord, it kind of like, it starts to clutter when you get too many Discords. I don't know. I don't really know about this whole Discord situation. Let me check here. So I'm going to invite people. I'm going to edit the invite to never expire. I'm going to generate the link. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it in chat. Maybe one of the mods and stuff can replicate that. But if it ends up like, I don't know. If it ends up like giving you guys issues, just don't worry about it. Whatever. Tanner, you should get a cat. It's worth it. It's easy too. Alright, we both chucked our lemons, so we got a good lemon chucking party here. Big lemon party. We walked down the street thinking we were going to confirm the lemon. Okay, that's where we were. We thought he threw his too far to the right, likely over a fence into a field. It was too dark to see either way from our distance. We walked down the street thinking we were going to confirm the lemons didn't make it onto the street. As we walked down the street, we found our lemons in the middle of the street, perfectly lined up side by side. We were mesmerized. How was that possible? Our first thoughts were that these lemons must have rolled down an incline or slope and settled that way. We thoroughly inspected the street and could not find any such thing. This street was completely flat. How they ended up so diametrically and mathematically perfect right next to each other with less than an inch of separation really tripped us out. We contemplated on what the odds were that should happen, and we knew the odds must have been astronomical. The next night, Dave and I were out once again galvanizing around the condo cumple? What the hell? Condo cumple? Is that a word, cumple? Spartan, you better forward those pictures of your cat right to the Discord selfie area. We need to see those cats ASAP, man. Wakanda Joel. Guys, I'm changing my channel name to Wakanda Joel. Thank you, 5,000 subs, for giving me that idea. Oh, gallivanting. I pronounced that wrong. The next night, Dave and I were out once again gallivanting around the condo, having had a few to drink. We came across the lemon tree with plans of repeating that contest. We laughed and talked about how weird the previous night was, and we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the results would be different this time. We chucked our lemons as far as we possibly could. This time we were even more certain we would never see those lemons again, having thrown them too far to the left or right. As we walked down the street, we joked about how we were going to completely trip out if we saw the exact same results, but we knew that would not happen. It was impossible. But when we came upon the lemons, only to find them exactly as they were the previous night, in the exact same spot with no logical explanation behind it, we said nothing. It was like the wind got knocked right out of our... shit. It was like the wind got knocked right out of our... God, I can't say that. Oh, Dave, this is you? Redhead Dave? Are you Redheaded Dave? Guys, Redheaded Dave is here and we need to show him some redheaded love. It was like the wind got knocked right out of our lungs and we simply forgot to breathe. We just stared at the lemons as if somehow they would reveal their secrets, but they did not. I pondered in my head and still do how long it would take for this to happen by chance if you took two random people and had them do this contest. How long would it take before they would get the same results me and Dave did? Maybe eternity. I do not doubt that it had something to do with the spirit we saw, but why would it behave this way? I will never know. Maybe just a blow to our minds. Oh, shit. Maybe just to blow our minds. A few years later, me and a couple of buddies were out late on a quiet, still night. My friend Pete decided to lead us to where a house once stood. While walking there, he gave us the backstory of this location. He said that there was a man who owned this house that somehow managed to lose his mind, slaughter his family, and burn down the house. Fuck. He said there was a man who owned this house that somehow managed to lose his mind, slaughter his family, and burn the house down along with him inside. I couldn't tell if this story was true or not because it sounded a bit cliché as far as horror stories go. But we went there, and the second we got to where we were standing in the middle of where this house once stood, an intense wind came out of nowhere. Not thinking much of it, I started messing around trying to sound macabre and said, "The spirits are telling us to get out," implying the wind was proof of this. I didn't really believe that, I was just trying to be funny. But what really tripped me out was the insane wind completely stopped the second we left a couple of feet from where the house once stood. There was no wind at all that day except for the 5 to 10 minutes of us being at that space. Was it a coincidence? Maybe, but it sure was weird. My final encounter with the supernatural of ill repute happened in 2005. By this time, I had left my partying days behind me and was happily married. Me and my wife decided to go out and see a movie. We weren't sure what we wanted to see, but we ended up settling for White Noise. This movie starred... Also, it's kind of funny, this author is a pretty good author as far as the writing goes, or at least seems like relatively educated, but it's just really funny because every time they write the word hour in the, possessive form, they write A-R-E, and I'm pretty sure they're just like trolling me right now. It's a big troll. Like a multi-layered troll. Covered in chocolate and bad grammar. This movie starred Michael Keaton and had to do with electronic voice phenomena. Keaton's character's wife dies, and he comes to find that by putting his TV on a frequency of white static, that by 3:30 every morning, he is able to make out voices in the static that tell him things, primarily from his recent deceased primarily from his recently deceased wife. The movie wasn't all that good. In fact, I have seen far scarier movies in my life done far better. Albeit, I will admit there was a couple of scenes that were a bit eerie, but this is what we're supposed to expect from a movie of this genre if done properly. Nothing out of the ordinary. That night, being a night owl, I was watching television when exactly at 3:30 the TV switched from what I was watching and went to pure white noise. It didn't just happen, I thought. I turned the TV off, woke up my wife, who was sleeping in our bedroom, and told her what had happened, and I asked her to pray. She pretty much rolled her eyes and said what she thought I wanted to hear, but I could tell she thought all the movie did was spark my imagination and that it will pass. The following night I was asleep in the bedroom and my wife was watching TV. The roles completely reversed. This time, she wakes me up at 3:30, scared out of her mind, to tell me that the TV again went to white noise. She left the white noise on, too scared to be in the living room long enough to turn the TV off. As I'm walking down the hallway, I was looking at this white noise, remembering that in the movie, this was a way for the dead to communicate with the living. No way I was going to speak to the noise. God condemns necromancy in the Bible. If the dead truly wanted to connect with me, they can wait until I die. I turned the TV off. This began some investigation. I had to know if there was a way that one of us accidentally set the TV to do this. We came to find that it was possible to set our cable to change channels at specific times. The thing is, neither of us knew how to do this, and what are the odds one of us accidentally setting our cable to do this at 3:30 a.m. on the very night we saw that movie? Odds are so astronomical that one can call it impossible. Next time around, we made sure that the TV was turned off and were both in bed by the time 3:30 rolled around. I was certain this would take care of the issue. It did not. At exactly that time, we heard the sound of static coming from the living room. I go out there to find the TV had managed to turn itself on and went right into white noise. Scary. I was pretty much at a loss at what else to do the following night except unplug the TV. If spirits are using my TV to mess with us, maybe if I unplug their power source, all will return to normal. It did. What a strange experience that was. To this day, I wonder how it came to be that this paranormal incident came to be. I wasn't the least bit connected with the white noise movie. I didn't think much of it. Again, I've seen scarier movies, so why of all movies was this one chosen by some Whoops. Booga booga booga! East Coast accent, nice. I don't even, yeah, it's weird. I like hear my voice. I don't really think of it as like a, I don't really think of it as an accent, but I guess that's just because I hear it all the time. But sometimes I'm happy that I don't have like a very like a super apparent accent, because I feel like the channel probably wouldn't be quite as successful if I wasn't more of like the neutral type. So why of all movies was this one chosen by some otherworldly entity? I wonder if a demon from my past encounters has attached itself to me with the goal to oppress. I believe I will never know the answers. It's been 14 years since my last experience, and must say, I do prefer it this way. Nice. So that was a good one. Usually what I do is like after I kind of get a gauge for what stories are going to be in the beginning, because I know like sometimes if you're listening to it once in a while, if I play like a lesser, I don't know, not quite as exciting story, or maybe it's just kind of ridiculous and unbelievable, I know that kind of creates like user abandonment, which would make no one want to stick around and listen. The goal is that I eventually get all of you to fall asleep, that by the last story all I'm saying is just like a woogly boogly boogly, woogly boogly boogly, doogly doogly. And you guys wake up to that and kind of ask yourself what just happened. What just happened? You guys wake up to the pee-pee poo-poo man, aka R. Kelly, in your room. Lights Darkness, $2 says how many stories are left? So there's 4 stories left, so we've got kind of a ways to go. Stream has been up for about 2.5 hours. These are kind of, I mean, that last one was relatively long. These are all pretty medium sized. Medium. Got a medium sized story coming up. Melinda, good night. Have a good sleepings. My people, the Malays or Javanese, have this belief that there are 7 people in the world who look exactly like you. Some also believe that if you meet all of them, you will die. Personally, I do not believe this. However, my family members and I and my close friends have experienced seeing these doppelgangers numerous times. The first time it happened to me, albeit indirectly, it was when my brother saw my daughter and I in London. He was walking towards a tube station near Hyde Park when he heard a child's voice behind him. He turned and saw a girl walking towards him. He was pleasantly surprised because he thought the girl was my daughter, and behind her, he saw someone who he thought was me. According to him, both the daughter and the man looked exactly like my daughter and I. It was not until they got within a few feet away when they all realized that they were not who they thought they were. Apparently, the dad said my brother looked exactly like his own brother, which was why his daughter thought he was her uncle. My brother told him that he too thought that they were almost identical to my daughter and me. He even showed them our pictures, and the man was extremely surprised. The second time this happened was at a shopping complex near my place. My wife and her best friends were having lunch together at a Nando's, a roast chicken place. My wife's friend then said she saw me coming down an escalator and walking towards them. Great, my wife snickered. Let's get him to pay for lunch. So they waited for me to come nearer, but when I got within a few feet, they both realized that it was not me. I was very surprised at how the man closely resembled me. The third time was also at a shopping complex near my place, but a different complex. A close friend who was also a former student was having a drink at a cafe when she saw me a couple of tables away. She wanted to join me, but before she got up from her place, she picked up on something that made her sit back down. She decided to scrutinize the man a little more and realized that he was not, in fact, me. She said there were minor differences. He was slightly smaller and his glasses were different. She remembered this because the last time we met, which was not long before this incident, I had just come back from the optician and I was telling her about the good deal that I got from the optician for my new pair of glasses. I also showed her the glasses. She took a photo of the man and sent it to me. I'm sure I have the photo still somewhere in my external hard drive. The fourth time happened in Malacca, a town and state south of Kuala Lumpur. The town and the state shared the same name. I was at a hotel for a conference. It was in the afternoon and I was making my way back to my hotel room when a man stopped me. He addressed me by a name that I did not recognize and he acted like we were old friends. He asked why he had not seen me at Zouk for ages. Zouk is a club in Kuala Lumpur. I told him that he had me mistaken for someone else and that I had never been to Zouk, even though it is actually not far from my place. He was silent as he scrutinized me up and down for quite some time before exclaiming, "Jesus Christ, you're not—" the man's name, which I have forgotten at this time. He was embarrassed and very apologetic, which I said he had no reason to be. He then excused himself and went down the corridor, still shaking his head. In perhaps a not-so-related incident, my father was at an airport in Delhi when a man dressed in military uniform came up to him, snapped to attention, and saluted him. The man said, "Major Bahadur, sir." The father was surprised. Oh, shit. My father was surprised. He then told the man that he was not Major Bahadur. The man told him that the major was his former commanding officer and had since retired. Moreover, he informed my father that he looked exactly like the retired major. So, I have had 4 indirect encounters with my doppelganger. According to my superstition... Spartan, you gotta keep up with my mistakes, bro. 53 is actually pretty good. So if you guys... oh, shit. According to the superstition, if I have 3 more indirect encounters, or if I encounter this man directly, I'm a goner. So if you guys don't hear from me anymore, you know what happened. If others had told me that there was a man who looks exactly like me, I might not have believed them, but the people who have seen my doppelganger are my own brother, my wife, her best friend, and a close friend. I trust that they would not have been fooled by what they saw so easily. Oh boy. Alright, so we are trucking right along, we're trucking, do. Alright. How do I read? Does anybody know how to read? Show me how. Ashley, somebody texts you 136 text messages in 2 hours. That sounds like... Sounds like a really good boyfriend. That's a yikes for me, dog. Give me a high five. Where can we get autistic bread? I don't know. You have to just go to the store and inject all the bread with vaccines. Wait it out. Throughout my childhood, I've had a few... okay. Throughout my childhood, I've had a few minor experiences which I believe have been paranormal. By sharing, I'm looking for advice, answers, people with mutual encounters. When I was little, about 3 or 4, I distinctly remember being terrified of a shadow which was on my bedroom wall every night. I was too scared to sleep without a lamp on, and I would always wake up to see the shadow on the wall. It was never there when I went to sleep, only when I woke up feeling scared in the middle of the night. The shadow was a profile of a woman's neck and head, and the distinguishing feature was a big ponytail, exactly like Polly Pocket. I would always wake up my mum, but she would, as a non-believer, explain to me that it was just a shadow of one of my toys and dolls and tell me to go back to sleep. After we moved house, I never saw the shadow ever again, and after recently asking my mum about it, she said that she vaguely remembered it. A few years later, when I was about 5 or 6, I had terrifying nightmares specifically revolving around religion. 2 examples I remember are as follows. The first dream I remember in vivid detail was about angels. I was standing in my backyard with my class from school when we looked up over the hill and we saw angels flying around in a circle, making a weird type of music. The teacher asked us, "What are they doing?" as though she was teaching a lesson, and one of the girls in my class said, "They're laughing." I woke up in terror. The next dream was about Jesus. I remember it so clearly because of how scared I was when I woke up. I was holding a crucifix with a gold Jesus figure on it. The Jesus started talking to me. I was scared, so I threw it in the garden. I was outside again, and I remember it saying, "No, Emma, pick me up." I picked it up, and the next thing I remember from the dream was I was in the mall with the crucifix, and everything was blurring around us. It was talking to me, but I can't remember what it was saying. Next thing I recall was waking up crying. After a while, I stopped having these dreams, and now if I'm in a nightmare, I can literally wake myself up by telling myself I'm dreaming. I had a pretty normal childhood after that, until I was about 9 or 10. Once again, we had moved house and I was a happy child. Small things happened in this house, but thinking back on them now, I feel uneasy. I used to take a bottle of drink with me to bed at night and still slept with a lamp on and a blanket I called Blanky. I did this until I was about 15. I would wake up in the middle of the night and my bottle of drink would be in the middle of my floor and Blanky was folded into a neat pile next to my head on my pillow. I asked both my parents if they were doing this and they both said no, and that I was probably doing it in my sleep. Yeah, right. My sister also complained of feeling scared of the house and had to go to therapy because she honestly believed that there was a man in the roof. I have spoken to her since and she says that she was just a kid with a vivid imagination. I also had an experience of falling asleep, be woken up by a distinct whisper in my ear of someone saying, "Emma." I was also afraid of my parents' room in this house. They had a built-in wardrobe with mirrored doors and I hated their whole room. We moved again when I was in year 10 to a house that was undoubtedly haunted or possessed really negative energy. I witnessed a door closing by itself, which I told myself was just because of a draft. I was mentally at my worst. I was extremely depressed and remember contemplating ending my life to the point I even wrote my family a goodbye letter. After we moved, I was fine. I never thought about that again and was mentally doing well and so much better. In this house, however, I did feel scared being by myself, and once experienced an object in the kitchen, a metal object that could not have been carried by the wind, fall onto the floor by itself. Nothing other than that really happened. I just felt uneasy. I always have. Before we moved out of this house, I was in the shower, home alone at about 8 p.m. My family was at our new house unboxing our kitchen stuff, so I was alone except for my puppy who was in his playpen in the kitchen. When I was under the water, I heard our door open and close. It was a loud door, so I could hear its trademark squeak and slam. I assumed it was my dad picking up more boxes, so I continued my shower normally. When I got out, my mom and sister got home about 5 minutes later. I asked them what Dad had come back for, and they said they had been at the other house with them all night. I told them what had happened, and we searched the house and found nothing. Needless to say, we were all pretty shaken up, but I've only heard the door open and close once, so either it was a person, they had been in the house for a while and were leaving or coming in, but there was no one in our house. I still feel uneasy sometimes in my home. I see shadows out of the corner of my eye and hear noises before I go to sleep. I usually sleep with a fan on, so I can't hear the random clicks or knocks around my room. I have spoken to one of my more spiritual friends about my experiences, and she believes I may be a little psychic. Honestly, I feel like I'm just paranoid, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yo, I just made it through that entire story unmistaken. AC Castillo with $2 says, hey, let's read favorite horror authors or directors. Well, that's a good question. I mean, I love H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft. Favorite horror directors. Well, I mean, I guess if The Shining was a horror movie, I certainly loved, I love Stanley Kubrick films. I know he's dead now, but all of his stuff just had such awesome ambience, and you just really felt like the places that he took you kind of had personalities of themselves, even though they were relatively haunting, I suppose. Wes Craven. I don't know about Wes Craven. I know who he is, but I'm not really sure. The last good horror movie I saw was, what the heck's it called? It's sitting over here on my shelf. Basically, it's, Hereditary, yeah. And Hereditary, Guillermo del Toro, he's good. I like his style. George Romero, yeah, zombie movies are pretty dank. But I don't know. I guess I liked, the thing I liked about Hereditary is that it was eerie. I like eerie. Also, the first Silent Hill movie was really good, I thought. I just thought they did a great job with the effects and the transitioning of stuff, and I don't know, sometimes it's hard to find a horror movie that just really gets you. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Antichrist with Willem Dafoe, but that one really, it's a little next level. Cujo. John Carpenter, yeah, The Thing was good. Yeah, atmospheric fear is where I'm at, and I think that's why I enjoy. That's kind of why I feel like the channel has gone the direction it has, as far as creating more atmosphere than anything. Sometimes I think it's more fun to make people afraid of what they think in their own mind than some, loud piano key being banged as a spooky goat man jumps out. Oh yeah, Dead Silence was okay. It was kind of corny, but it was okay. And I'm definitely have always had a fear of like ventriloquist doll type stuff since like R.L. Stine days and all that kind of stuff. The Grudge was The Ring, I think, was scarier than The Grudge. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth kind of just annoyed me. Like it was advertised as this like super duper visually stunning sort of like anime type adventure, and then it was like 75% some like annoying war movie about like the Spanish Revolution or Civil War, so I don't even remember, but I don't know, it was just kind of like they had all these cool visual elements that I just like did not really pan out quite as much as I wish they did. They didn't Pan's Labyrinth out quite. Oh yeah, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like whenever he like takes the axe to that dude's head, like he hits the floor freaking hard, and it's scary. It Follows was good. I liked It Follows. It was unique. There's a certain type of imagery that I find to be very terrifying, and it's the imagery of something standing a distance away with like ominous music. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that or witnessed that in certain movies. The Conjuring 2 did it, where the demon was standing at the end of the hallway, and it wasn't a jump scare, you know what I mean? It was just there. I've seen a few other movies, like this one creepy movie where it was like a woman was, it was like a dead woman, but she was standing like way down at the bottom of a field, and she was standing next to a tree, and it was like this guy's like dead wife who was like haunting him. And you know, it's not like it's jumping out at you or screaming that you have to be scared, but it's just like this, that sense of like uncertainty, and it's like it really gets in your head, you know what I'm saying? Joel will be back. I will be back to reading here in this moment. I don't know why, I feel very fatigued today. I guess we did a good workout. Spooky says, I like where they do the things far away, then they jitter and the flicker closest to the camera. Oh, like where it's like climbs up at the thing, like almost like a bug crawling up to someone's face, or like where they do different like lens techniques or something, like where the background, yeah, it's like where the background gets, or the person gets closer but the background kind of stays the same, or vice versa, and it creates a really strong sense of like vertigo fear. But yeah, when it gets jittery, it's real creepy. It's cool. I really admire movies that try like different cinematography and things like that. There's just so much about like certain horror movies that like kind of get boring, especially whenever people make decisions. It's just like, I don't know. There was a few things in The Conjuring 2 where I was just like, I remember like for whatever reason, not to spoil it for anybody or whatever, so spoiler alert. There was all this crazy shit going down, but like the clergy or the Catholic Church wasn't going to give their full blessing or get involved in it unless it could be proven, you know, true, which I thought, or I don't know, it was really weird. They wanted objective information for like this very ethereal entity, you know, and especially like, and I guess because the clergy doesn't want, you know, like the Catholic Church doesn't want bad publicity or whatever. But I just remember there was a circumstance or a sort of like climax in the movie where the little girl started throwing plates around and destroying stuff by her own fruition, and it was caught on camera on purpose so that, you know, the clergy would not get involved, and it would just demonstrate that it was fake when it clearly wasn't. But I don't know, I just thought that there was something about that movie. There was just like so much more evidence that they could have utilized to, like, there was so much going on, and there's sometimes there's just like decisions and energy made by characters that I just don't understand, and then I also like there's some characters that you just hate, you know what I mean? Like they just can't do enough to make you like that person, and sometimes I kind of wish they would make more just like nihilistic movies where just bad things happen, because sometimes I kind of like when bad things happen, and that sounds terrible, but sometimes it's just fun to do bad things, you know what I'm saying? Movie on Netflix called The Void, which was pretty creepy. Interesting. Get Out. Yeah, Get Out was good. I liked that because it was like, had characters, and it had, now granted, the main character I thought had literally zero emotion, which was kind of like, and then he was on, that guy was also in Black Mirror, an episode, and he had zero emotion in that until the very end. He had this sudden burst of emotion. So that was kind of strange, but I definitely liked the way that it like played out, and it was kind of like a cool like a mixture between like science but also like paranormal. You know, I really like when movies kind of mix those two together. The Mist. I feel like I remember The Mist like somebody getting their chest sucked on by a giant mosquito or something like that. Patrick Waters with the 2. Thank you, Patrick. More movie review. I need to watch more movies. I waste my life on Overwatch so much just to get angry. I need to just like sit and enjoy some flicks. I would love to make movies too. Like I just really, I remember I did it in college with, and that's kind of what got me into like using sound equipment and stuff like that, was, you know, helping people with movies, and then I would act in them and stuff, and then and like all this, and I didn't go to the college, which was fun. So like all the kids who got to watch my stuff like didn't know who I was, but they always really liked my acting, and I mean, from what I was told. So that was always cool to like hear and stuff. And then from that, I got connected to someone to help me with to help them with the documentary as their sound guy, and that got me familiar with the current microphone that I'm using to record and all that. So it all has its, you know, stepwise pattern and stuff. Quiet Place. I thought, honestly, like A Quiet Place and Hereditary came out at the same time, and I watched both of them. I thought A Quiet Place was kind of like just a glorified monster flick. I mean, yeah, I'll let you guys watch it. I don't want to ruin it since it's relatively new. These encounters I've had with these shadow-like entities in the past 2 years. To start, I've never done any hallucinogenic drugs or anything of the sort. I'm in the military, and it's way too hard to get away with that stuff to begin with. From what I can remember, all of this started happening to me when I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma for my military job training. Late one night, I was sleeping in my bunk when I suddenly woke up to what looked like a black figure walking into my room. Wiping the sleep out of my eyes, and sat up thinking that it was one of the guys on fire guard that night taking head counts for the sergeant on CQ. Fire guard is just one of the guys that watches over the barracks during the night to make sure no funny business happens. Just as soon as I sat up to greet the guy walking in, it dissipated into nothingness. Really confused, I looked at the top bunk and saw that my bunkmate was up from his phone screen, lighting up the ceiling. I spoke up and said, "Hey Long, did you see someone walk into our room just now?" He paused and looked down the hill. Fuck. Oh yeah, Bird Box is so bad. I mean, I'm not trying to trigger anybody right now, but Bird Box is like one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. Alright, I'm going to talk about Bird Box real quick, because it made me angry. First off, it was written by a dummy. It was written by an actual dumb person. Like a dumb person wrote it, and they were not smart. That's all I had. That's like all you can really say. Well, I mean, the one thing that I'm most impressed with Bird Box is like their viral marketing. Like, I didn't even know about the Bird Box challenge until after it was done or whatever, but like people were talking about Bird Box. Oh, it's on Netflix, and it's so easy to go see a movie on Netflix because it's on Netflix and everybody has Netflix, and even if you don't have Netflix, you can steal someone's password and play Netflix on your own, and you just, you know, kind of like getting, you know, like how they herald having like, look at 40 million players playing Apex Legends. It's like, well, it's easy when it's free, you know what I mean? Even though Netflix isn't necessarily free, but sometimes that's the way to really maximize your monetary efforts, is to just make something free and then hope it becomes viral. But anyways, you got like right from the get-go, I was like, oh, okay, it's mysterious. We don't know what's going on, and the cinematography is pretty like well thought out and paced, and it feels like a movie. And we have Sarah, or is it Sarah? Whatever the actress was, like she was doing okay thus far. and there's mystery to it, and you're kind of like getting pulled in, and then all of a sudden, it goes back to like the past. You know how it cuts back and forth between past and present, and it all of a sudden felt like it was like the cinematography, the acting, the story. It literally Sandra Bullock, Sandy Bullock, Bullock, Sandra Bullocks. It just felt like it was directed. I mean, you guys ever watch those original movies on Sci-Fi? Mini Bear, $5 says, "What do you call a fish with no eyes?" A fish. Badooms. Nice, thank you, Mini Bear. But like, it like everything about it was so low budget and embarrassing. It was like it was directed by and filmed by the people that made sci-fi movies like Sharknado, and I mean it wasn't as bad as Sharknado, but like, you know, if I had a list, like I feel like I would rather have watched Sharknado in that scenario. And it's like you get John Malkovich and a few other people you might recognize and stuff, but they just whoever the director was, if we're talking about like favorite horror directors, worst horror director had to have been whoever was in charge of that mess. God, it was bad. I'm sorry. And I think of the fact that it was hyped up so much too, and the fact that people were talking about it, and I was like, it was like unavoidable. It was like you were getting text messages from people saying, "Have you seen Bird Box? Have you seen it? Have you went to Mass today and prayed? And watched Bird Box during Mass?" Light's Darkness with the $2. "Have you seen Paranormal Activity movies or Signs?" Signs was very good. Signs was kind of, yeah, sorry, I got triggered by Bird Box pretty hard there, guys. Suzanne Bier was the director. What else has she directed? I'm curious. But yeah, like a lot of the M. Night Shyamalan movies were pretty ballin' because they always had that twist. And I thought Signs was great. I thought Signs was one of his best movies. I haven't watched, oh no, I did watch Split, and I thought Split was really good. John McAvoy, or whatever his name is, the guy who plays Xavier, the young one. Like, he is a really, really talented actor. Like, really talented. Going between all those different personalities, and yes, James McAvoy. McAvoy, yeah. Fuck you, Joel. Night can kick rock. M. Night can kick rocks. No, I know. He's had some major flops, and I totally understand. But when he started his career, it was weird. I remember going to like IMDb and looking at like the She's not over Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, he really botched that pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, you could see from where he started, like the ratings of his movies on average just like slowly like we're dipping down. And interestingly enough, freaking the budget that was on Split compared to how well it did in the box office and all that kind of stuff, like that movie literally made him a multi-millionaire again overnight. And I thought that was kind of a cool story, because basically there's like a production company or something like that, and like like this one production company that like buys up films, and then they sell them, and they think they sold it off to Universal or something like that. And it was just like the whole thing was just a perfect storm for him to get back in the limelight of things. And he has some pretty interesting stories related to seeing ghosts whenever he almost died underneath the ice or some shiz. What's the new one? The new Split? Or is that the new one? I forget. Guess I should just read some stories. Hey Long, did you see someone walk into our room just now? He paused and looked down from the top of his bunk at me and said, "Nah, man. Fire guard came in like an hour ago. You were knocked out for the night." This time I simply just brushed the encounter off, and a really strange occurrence and nothing else. Fast forward to January of 2018, I started college at the University of North Dakota, UND. This is when the encounters got really bad, to the point where I was too afraid to go to sleep some nights. I lived in a really old dorm building called Squires Hall, built way back in the day by myself. The encounters I had didn't all have these shadow people while I was there, so... Oh shit. Oh, weird. Did I miss? Was that an old one? Sixth Sense? Oh, there it is. That's funny, it showed up on the OBS before it showed up in chat, Darkness, but thank you for the 2. He says, The Sixth Sense was a good movie. Yeah, The Sixth Sense was a great movie. That movie really messed me up when I was a kid, because there's a scene where, I don't remember, he's like hanging out with little kids, and he really, really doesn't want to, you know, go in this one area where there's this one ghost, and all the kids like bully him and essentially like lock him in this room, and then the ghost like, I think like beats the crap out of him. And I just remember like something about it, like I've always been scared of like weird things, like something about the way that the ghost yelled and the sound of it and like the whole experience, I guess the mystery of it really just got in my head. But have you seen The Seventh Sense? Also, I was trying to think of new ways to make art, because we have the 5 senses: sight, taste, touch, smell, hearing. I guess that's 5. And the 6th one, which is seeing spooky ghosts. But there's got to be like other subsets of senses that we have not explored yet. Because I've heard people talk about, like, you know, humans having maybe over 23 various like subsets of senses. The tongue twister. And I think that once you figure those out, like, okay, we have eyes, so we go and see movies, right? And we see art and poop, you know, not poop, but, you know, and then we have music. Music is entertainment, you know, the music industry. But we have all these untapped things. Obviously, you have smell-o-vision. Is probably something that Sony might get into or whatever. But, and I guess taste. It's food. Never mind. Well, I forgot about that one. So I guess humanity's pretty much got all the bases covered. But there's got to be something that we haven't quite figured out yet, like smelling. Well, I just said smelling. So eyes, nose, mouth, ears, touch. Okay, touch. Guys, we need to invent something that we can charge people to go touch things. I guess they have petting zoos. Alright, cancel all these ideas. We're moving on. This is when the encounters got really bad, to the point where I was too afraid to go to sleep some nights. I lived in a really old dorm building called Squires Hall, built way back in the day, by myself. The encounters I had didn't all have these shadow people while I was there, so I'll share everything of note. One night I went to bed and woke up to a tall shadow person standing in front of the door of my room with crimson eyes that seemed to stare right through me. I sat up in my bed and freaked out. Side note, I don't consider myself a very religious person at all, more like agnostic to clear everything up, so you can imagine my fear seeing these things. After what felt like an eternity, having a staring contest with this entity, I shouted at it, "What do you want with me?" It took one big step towards me, shook its head, and in a feminine voice said, "Help." With that, it vanished into the darkness in the room. Another time that really stands out was when it was the end of the spring semester, shit. God, I hate ruining the freaking, I hate ruining the atmosphere with like a mess up, because it's just so funny. There had been claims of 21 senses. Guys, what are the other 21 senses? Can you list them for me? We have yeeting, we have oofing, bedding, AFing. There's so many. Anesthesia. Yiffing. What's a yiff? Sounds naughty. Skeeting, yarding, proprioception. What's proprioception? That. Cashing me outside. Calcing me out sighing. Equilibrioception. Dang. Do I play Roblox? If you do, come play Sleep Paralysis with me. Oh boy. I've never, honestly, I'm so jealous of kids nowadays because, man, I would poop my pants if I had Minecraft as like a 6-year-old, along with Roblox and the like. You would not be able to get me anywhere outside of 10 feet away from a GameCube. Another time that really stands out is when it was the end of spring. Okay. Another time that really stands out was when it was the end of the spring semester, the last week of school. I had most of my room and clothes packed up and ready to move out, for after my finals are done I had a couple of cans of Coke in the back of my mini fridge by the door in my room. One night during that week I went to bed and woke up to a loud bang. I sat up in my bed and looked towards where the noise came from in my room, towards the door. There, standing in front of my door, was a black figure. It took one step towards me next to the fridge and pointed down at... Fuck. There, standing in front of my door, was a black figure. It took one step towards me next to the fridge and pointed down at it and disappeared. I turned on the lamp on my bed and walked over to my fridge, opened it, and looked into it. There, in the back of the fridge, a can of Coke exploded. An example of the non-shadow people things I see. While I was at UND, I had a long-distance girlfriend for over a year. We started dating in high school, and when I enlisted in the military, she started school in the College of St. Scholastica, a private college in Duluth, Minnesota. So at the time of the story, we had been dating for over a year, and everything was great, although she had a grandfather at the time who was very sick. One night I woke up, and at the foot of my bed I saw 3 figures standing at the foot of my bed in my dorm room. On the right there stood my girlfriend from the past, a little girl with a silly bob haircut and a pink dress, a photo that I once saw of her. In the middle was my girlfriend from the present, long blonde hair, leggings, and a sweatshirt. Then on the left was my girlfriend from the future. She wore a long black dress, as dark as the night, with long black hair. Where her face should have been was just a black, messy blur, unlike the other figures beside her. Brushing off the incident, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't tell her about what I saw that night. 2 days later, I got a phone call from her crying. She told me that the grandfather that she was so close to had passed away, and she wanted to take a break from our relationship to try and figure everything out. After the call ended, I thought back to what I saw that night and analyzed what that third figure might have been trying to tell me. The black dress symbolizes death, like the clothes you wear to a funeral, and the blurry black face, meaning she would break up our relationship to deal with her grandfather's death. Somehow I had a clairvoyant vision of the near future. Other times I hear people in my room while I'm trying to fall asleep, either people trying to speak to me or talking to someone else in the room. Most of the time I'll hear people whisper my name in my ear while I'm laying in bed trying to fall asleep. That summer I went to a psychiatrist to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. In the sessions I had and the stories I told him, I wasn't schizophrenic, but I was diagnosed with a kind of sleeping disorder called hypnagogic. Oh shit. Hypnagogic. I know I was not pronouncing that right at all.
Hypnagogic.
Oh, I did. Okay. Look who's the smartest man in my room. besides my cat. Okay. From the sessions I had and the stories I told him, I wasn't schizophrenic, but I was diagnosed with a kind of sleeping disorder called hypnagogic, falling asleep, and hypnopompic, waking up hallucinations. Basically, as I'm either falling asleep or coming out of sleep, certain parts of my brain either go to sleep or come out of a sleeping state slower and faster than other parts, making me have visual and auditory hallucinations. Hearing all of this, I still have my doubts. I don't doubt his credibility or anything, but I think that there's more to this than just hallucinating. I'd like to hear what you think about my story, and please share your input. Plus, I do have some other ones to share too, if you're interested. I wanted to keep this story short and sweet, but I don't think that happened very well. Oh, fuck, that's not like a... that's not a very, like, spooky sentence to end on. I'd like to hear what you think about my story. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Hearing all of this, I still have my doubts. I don't doubt his credibility or anything, but I think that there's more to this than I'm just hallucinating. There we go. Buttercult, assemble! Assemble! Yeah, yeah. Assemble the ensemble. Assemble the ensemble. Sing it, guys. Guys, we're on number 10. We are on story number 10. This is the last story. Bandos, please don't say that. We are on the last story of the night. And yeah. We did it. We're doing it. And we're about to do it. Again. My cat is doing great. He's at probably his peak physical ability and performance as of late. It's so funny. Cats are so funny, like, they choose the worst possible times to try to scare you. And he's just such an idiot. And I love it. It's so funny. It's just like, why would he try to scare me at this exact moment? But it makes sense because he knows you're not paying attention. So he's like, I'm gonna just run up around the corner while you're walking and do like a pounce jump. And it's funny because sometimes like he'll just take off running, but other times he'll like just fall over on his stomach like, ooh, I didn't mean to scare you. You better not pet me anywhere. But then I do. I pet him right on his belly. Aurika Nishama shared some of her cat pics. Look at all these cat pics you guys are about to get, and selfies on our Discord. Hopefully, if we're not charging you $100 to join Discord, we can all just be friends after this. That's so weird to me that Nitro's being weird. Maybe it was the house that was haunted, but whatever reason, I saw my husband's doppelganger at least twice while we lived there. The first time was after I drove him to work. It was a 45-minute drive each way, and I was just getting back home. When I pulled up in front of the house, there he was, standing on the porch smoking a cigarette. Same black hat and red shirt he had on when I dropped him off. I looked away for a second to put the car in park, and when I looked back, he was gone. I hopped out of the car and looked on either side of the house for him. So confused. I called and asked him where he was. Obviously, he was still miles away at work. I thought I was going crazy. The second time, I was not alone. We had a friend of ours over at the house who I'll refer to as W. Now, W and I were hanging out in the kitchen eating munchy food, and my husband was outside for whatever reason, I forget. Before I continue, the house was set up like this. The kitchen is the first room you walk into from the front door and front porch. It's the only room on the bottom floor. There's a set of wooden stairs in the kitchen that leads upstairs to the rest of the house. In front of the house is the main road, so you had to walk off the porch onto the sidewalk and around to the house. No. You know, it'd be really funny if I just had an hour-long video of a compilation of me explaining the layouts of houses. Because I swear to God, that's every 2 stories, it's someone just giving you the intricacies of their dresser drawer. Now, when I pull this dresser drawer out, it always makes a squeak. But once in a while, it doesn't. And sometimes my panties get caught in the handle. Okay, anyways. Yes, describe a sidewalk. In front of the house is the main road, so you have to walk off the porch onto the sidewalk and around to the side of the house to get to the yard. So we're both in the kitchen, but I'm leaning over the counter eating leftover halumpkies. And what is a halumpki? Has anyone here ever eaten a halumpki? Discord told me fat chicks need love, but they gotta pay. Oh my god. Discord is discriminatory, guys. What the heck? What the hey and heck? What the heck and hey? Alright. Okay. A halupki. Maybe it sounds almost Polish or something like that. Yes, a halumki is a small, bald rodent-like animal, but tasty when fried. Oh, wow. Never heard of that before. I'd like to try one when the apocalypse hits. We're gonna be having halumpkies every day at Let's Read's house during the apocalypse, so come on over. Bring a rat, bring a friend. We'll fry him up. The rat, not the friend. We're both in the kitchen, but I'm leaning over the counter eating leftover halupkis, and W's at the kitchen table facing the door. My husband bursts through the door and runs through the kitchen, slamming the door shut behind him. I only see him out of my periphery. After a second, W says to me, "Where did he just go?" And a chill goes down my spine. I turn around and he's not there. I don't even bother checking the stairs because they're very loud and I would have heard him. I knew what it was. I say to W, "That wasn't him," and go towards the door to check outside and prove to both of us he was still out there. And this is where it gets hilarious. W grabs a hold of the back of my shirt, terrified, and yells, "Don't open that door." I bravely open the door and yell for my husband, who responds, "Yeah?" and comes walking around the house from the side yard. Our simple friend then says to him, "Dude, someone just ran into your house," causing my husband to go into attack mode, running into the house searching for the intruder. I know this is ridiculous because W didn't act as if a stranger ran into the house when we were in the kitchen. In fact, I think he even said something to him before asking me where he went. I stop them both and say, Wait a minute, W, what did you see?" And he looks at my husband and says, "I saw you." At that moment, we all realized what happened. We saw something supernatural. We were thoroughly freaked out, and W refuses to talk about it to this day. "Hi, I'm Chucky, wanna pray?" Alright, guys. Holy chips, we made it. Now it's time to read our closer. Everybody get the birds chirping. Chirp, 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 chirp. Yeast. The yeast has risen. Oh, stuffed cabbage is halupki. I was just thinking it'd be funny if she just made up a snack and people read it and they're like, "Oh yeah, halupki. I have that every Wednesday." We need to make up some snacks. Alright guys, get ready for this sick ass outro that you've never heard before and takes a lot of skill to read. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends, and I'll see you again soon. Whoa, did you guys hear that? That was like pro. Oh yeah, good idea. We will talk about all the good stuff that you guys should check out in your spare time besides Discord. I mean, well, what would that be? What kind of cool stuff would that be? I mean, you heard me talk about Patreon. Patronize me. People say, don't patronize me, but personally, I sort of enjoy it. And whenever I get done editing this audio, I always put it on Patreon first in a nice downloadable MP3 format. And you guys can go ahead and download that and listen to it in your free time. But, yeah. So basically, thank you guys so much for supporting the stream in all the amazing ways and just being here. We're almost up to 300 people at the end of the stream, so this is great. And just so you know, it's in the description below, but you can find it in the playlists. All the streams will be available to watch at the streams playlist, which is linked below, and it will be at the way bottom. You gotta kind of scroll all the way down there. And oh, is Ivy going night Ivy, night Ivy. But yeah, scroll all the way down on the streams playlist, and you can hear the newest one. It should be, obviously they get kind of like labeled by date. This one title is called Recording Ghost Stories for Tomorrow. And then also check out the podcast if you haven't already. The nice thing about that is it saves your data. Saves your data because it's not playing through the YouTube app, and it's playing through Spotify and iTunes and I think a few other platforms, but you'll have to check those out. But this Apple and Spotify links are down below. We're at almost 1 million total listens, I guess you can call them, on there for that. And that, it took six months, but you guys have really helped me to grow that. And it's fun because we basically take the videos from the week and put them into a 3-hour compilation for that. Once in a while I'll promote that on the YouTube channel. But yeah, donate $1 for early access on Patreon. Get that. I'll be chopping and screwing at the editing software here soon, so I'll get that out for you. If you yourself have some stories, Lizzie went ahead and linked that there. You can go to Reddit r/Let's Read Official, or you can submit my stories to Let's Read Submissions at Gmail. But I would highly suggest you get them to the subreddit because that's like where I mainly check. Oh yeah, Spartan, how many mistakes did you? Well, Spartan, you were supposed to keep track, so in my book, that's 0 mistakes, my friend. That was your job. JK. I think I made like 10. Anyways, yeah. Check out the Discord, that's linked below. If you want some merch, a lot of people have been showing off their merch on Instagram lately, which is awesome. I don't know if that means an uptick in purchases, but it definitely means an uptick of awesome people who want to show it off. And if you would like to buy some merch to rep the Let's Read set, feel free to do that, and then send me a picture of it either in Discord or over on Instagram or something, and I can share that, and that'd be sick. But yeah, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram because I'm at like 5,000 followers on Instagram, which is cool and stuff, but to get the full benefits out of it, I need like 10,000 followers, because at 10,000 followers you can put links. Put like a link right in your story, and I I would really like to do that so that whenever I'm streaming, you can just like swipe up and it'll take you directly to my stream or the new video or what have you and all that good stuff. And also thank you so much to Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse for always using his fantastic music. Patrick Waters with the $5 on the outro. Thank you, Patrick. I'm glad you got faith in the channel and your support. But yeah, guys, we're rolling out. There's always an after party at the Discord. I hope you guys don't have any glitchy issues going on with that. But we'll get it figured out, even though by that I mean I won't be doing anything about it, but I hope Discord gets it figured out in their company. But yeah, Encore. You want to? Okay, actually, I'll do an Encore because I kind of have been reading into. I have been reading into this mic all night, and it's kind of uncomfortable trying to do that with a headset connected to your head. It's just like really awkward. So the nice thing is, so I just moved my mic there a little bit. Joe. All right, what should I read? What would you guys like me to read? Three Little Pigs. Let's do it. I'm reading Three Little Pigs without consent. Just kidding, but okay. Three lizard pigs. Oh boy. How do you even, is that a story? Does that exist? Or is it just like a poem? Alright, I need another suggestion. Make it spooku. I'm trying to make it spooku. Read Harry Potter, all of them. Lizard pigs. Commenting too much. Better be asleep by the end of this. You will, I promise. Total of 56 mistakes. That's a new record, guys. Keep track of that record because last time it was like 80. And after that it was 100. So 56 ain't bad. Especially with that one story in the middle. Okay. Maybe... A funny story from your youth. You know what I do have is a story that I've been working on where I started way back in the day. But it's like a science fiction story. And I don't know if it's any good. You guys can tell me whether or not it sucks and whether or not I should continue it. Let's see. Okay. 100 years ago, just kidding. Your favorite novel, All Quiet on the Western Front. It's one of the best war novels ever. Yeah. It's probably pretty long, so that kind of makes it hard. But this is called The Traveling Planet. And I will read the first chapter for you guys as a little bit of an encore. And then I will bid you adieu. But let's begin. And please give me some honest feedback. Because I probably need it. Also, maybe I should... Well... We won't worry about that. We'll just leave the spooky music on for now. A colossal planetary orb overlooks our home. Nearly at the climax of its kiss with the rock we call Earth. Some of the most amazing shades of blue you'll ever see. Colors you don't find here. Colors artists attempt and fail to replicate. It only peaks every 68 years, but you can always see it coming months in advance. A new star in the sky at first, then within half a year's time the harvest moon dawned forth its peak. When it does come, it's always an exciting time here. The world seems to come together in peace for nearly a year in the common endeavor to appreciate what some hold as God's passing eye. Some call it our planet's passing lover. Some call it the stubborn phenomena because science can't explain why it doesn't act like all the other celestial bodies. And then comes the twilight days and shadowless nights. By the time the sun hits noon, the sky is eclipsed and the blue hues don't miss anything after sundown. Some even believe the vibratory luminescence can evoke an inner potential. It truly is an experience that all should share in at least one lifetime. Sheol and I lay under the aquatic nightlight overlooking our village, of which is celebrating peak banquet. The festival lights give illusion that the night's excitement is nearly at its apex, paralleling the sapphire that penetrates our sky. The blue bulb emanates such an energy, causing a sense of invigoration through its very presence. Away from all the festival cheer, its song can be heard through energetic vibrations that hum only soft enough for those who listen closely, those who seek to hear. Resting next to one another, hands grasped, I can feel the vastness of the cosmic sphere reverberating through us both, nearly enhancing through our physical connection. They say it's getting closer, you know. Sheol gently let out. In my hypnosis, I nearly missed what she said. You don't buy into that collision course fear, do you? I rattled off in nearly the same words I've heard from Pop time and time again. She paused for a long while, her eyes reflecting equally beautiful seas of blue back at the monster in the sky. I don't know. My father's been doing a lot of work at the observatory lately, and he says something's different. Her gaze never breaks from the atmosphere, and I have no words to say. He says at this rate, this might be the last cycle before the event. Silence fills the air as what she said begins to pass over me. Fireworks can be seen popping and fading in sparkling reds and yellows near Village Square. The irony of it all nearly brings a smile to my face. We lay there quietly, looking directly at what some hold in highest form of natural phenomenon and beauty, and by the same means could very well bring about our end. But the fear had not overtaken me. I know I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Sheol clasped my hand even tighter, her vision transfixed towards the endless blue, and all I can hear is that gentle hum. Alright, what do you guys think? Is it dog shit? Johan Ortez thinks it's crap. It's fine. It's alright. Yeah, basically I wanted to write like something science fiction-y, and that's like the first little, I wouldn't call it a chapter, but it's like just the first scene per se. And I don't know, the tough part is like when you write like science fiction, you have to like kind of know a mild amount of stuff about planets and whatnot. Planet Dolan? Yeah, Planet Dolan wrote it. And I really don't know anything about like how a giant celestial body like isn't affecting us gravitationally or whatever. Yeah, and all that kind. I mean, I don't know. If anybody has any knowledge of like astronomy is the word I'm looking for, yeah, feel free to hit me up, and maybe you can help me walk me through the process of writing the story, because that would be, because I have all the ideas creatively in my head. I just like just the science is a little iffy, and I know that there's some leniency in science fiction when it comes to writing, but I would like to make it at least sound mildly believable, I guess. Big vacuum, stars, suns, gravity, pretty. That's perfect. That's all I needed to hear. But guys, yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you guys being so positive and great. So, yeah. Much love. And thank you so much for the donations. That was incredibly generous. And just for your time being here is also great. Yeah, I hear the birds chirping. I love you guys. New video will be out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to check out this stream in the link below for all the old streams. Basically, they get uploaded and they might be available on the main page, but then I set them to unlisted and then put them on that playlist, so it's not like taking up free real estate, as you know. So, adieu, my friends, and I hope you have a good night.